It wrapped around your soul with no control. You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I'll run, I'll hide. Darkness always clouds my mind. When I look behind, it's moving closer every time. I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. Darkness, my old friend, you get me till the end. At the end. Can you feel it wrapped around your soul with no control? You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. Darkness, my old friend, you get me till the end.
All right, folks, we're here again for another live stream. I am Will Stewart, and you're watching THFCRants. Tonight, we are discussing the General, Höjbjerg. Has he found a run of bad form, or does he just need a rest? And the second topic for tonight is José. Is he a liar, or maybe just forgetful? Those are the things that we're going to be ranting about tonight. I've already got two guests waiting in the back, so I'm going to go ahead and bring them on. We've got staying up with us late, Tommy from Spurs Zone, all the way from the UK. What's going on, Tommy?
It's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. Look, I used to have insomnia, so it's not too much of a stretch for me.
Yeah, for me, I've always been a night person. I was in the military and was on 12-hour night shifts. So for me, sleeping.
I was watching one of your old videos, and you was like, "I'm 6'5". I was like, "Whoa, man! You'd have made some centre back. We need some centre backs right now. You'd have made some centre back."
Yeah, I should have stuck with the football instead of playing switching to basketball at the age of
100%.
12. I could probably done something. I used to play keeper, so I probably could have done something as a keeper, 6'5".
That makes sense. That makes sense.
But yeah, we've also got your favorite Canadian from the UK, an expat from the UK, now living here in North America. He likes to say some things, but he'll never say the 4-letter word of Levy. Your favorite friend, Brian Daigle. What's going on, Brian?
I'm loving it, mate. Do you know what? My intros into these shows are getting better and better and better. But what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to leave here and come straight back in because my whole thing is frozen. So give me 30 seconds and I'm back with you.
All right, sounds good. We'll do that.
36.
All right, so Tommy, since this is your first time on the show tonight, we usually give the first-time guests the opportunity to kind of introduce themselves and let us know what you've got going on. So tell us a little bit about your channel and what you do.
So I only started my channel about 5 or 6 weeks ago. So it's relatively new, relatively fresh, similar content. But I started with my live watch-alongs. And now I'm just sort of adapting to doing it with other people. I was just doing it on my own pretty much. And so hosting with other people. You know, Brian was on my show live the other day, and it's great to be part of it. I mean, I'm part of the Spurs family. I've only been doing it for like a week, live hosting on my own. So it's very special, and it's a fantastic thing we got going there.
Yeah, I just started this channel too not so long ago. It's been about I guess my first actual video. I mean, I created the channel and all that stuff on like the 14th of March, but I think my first video was actually on the 18th of March. So it's been about almost, I guess it would be 2 weeks tomorrow, 3 weeks maybe tomorrow. I don't remember. But yeah, it's been a fun trip, you know. But we also have waiting in the back already our favorite frenemy, America's. I'm willing to concede this title. America's #1 Spurs fan. You love to hate him, but I love him. Marcelo.
The big dog.
Come on, how are we doing, boys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
These are new mics, so I got the soundproof ones, so nothing to bother me this time. I'm on my phone, so because I turned off my computer, so you're gonna get a different angle from me today.
How you doing, Marcelo, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm actually, I was looking at the season today, and it's been some tough times, man. Over the Zagreb, Arsenal loss, all those things. You just think about this club, and it's so easy to think negatively. But look, I was looking at the table. I was looking at some of the performances, and I was actually getting a little bit more positive. I'm getting a little bit more positive day by day. Now, obviously, the United results could change that. But I think if we do beat United on Sunday, that is a big statement to getting.
We won't lose. I'm telling you now, we won't lose. I've just got that feeling. We're not going to lose. I've got the funniest.
You know what, Tommy? I'm feeling the same feeling as you. I got the same feeling.
We're going to win the game, and the pendulum will swing once more.
But doesn't it frustrate you? Doesn't it frustrate you that literally the game and it happened so many years as a Spurs fan. I can remember it from the 90s where that one game when every single result goes our way and we mess it up. And then the next game, no matter what, we'll put in like a 5-star performance.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
And you just like, you get very, very happy with the result. But then you're like, you bloody idiots. Why couldn't you have just done that?
If you won that game,
Newcastle,
if you win that game, you're on a run of potentially 4 or 5 wins. It was the same when we just beat, what was it? Crystal Palace was a free game bounce. It was Burnley, Fulham, Palace, and then you had Zagreb the first leg, and then obviously the shocking second leg is Zagreb, and then Arsenal. The performance was so flat. It was so flat. And when we talk about José Mourinho, that's exactly why a lot of people want José out. When you go into a game, into the first 5 minutes like we did against Arsenal, playing ultra deep. It wasn't deep to the stage where they came onto us and we backed off. We started deep. From the very off. We let them come on to
Yeah.
us. They took full advantage. They deserve to win.
Have all of you watched Ali Gold's video from today?
Yeah, I
haven't.
watched. I watched a little.
I think I made
bits
it through
and
35
pieces.
minutes of it. I don't
So,
know if I got all
I-
the way to the end, but
So I started watching a bit of it before here. Then I realised this was going to come on first, and I can't leave Ali Gold. I'm like I have to finish it, so I stopped it. But it
Mhm.
intrigued me at the beginning when he spoke about there's 3 groups of Spurs fans at the moment. When he said there's one that is I want Jose out, that's it, done, get rid of him, get a new one. The second one was love Jose, he want him in, he's the right man. And Ali went on a bit that Jose Mourinho has this cult following, like Sun does, where they follow the man, not the team.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought the third one was going to say there's people for Lenik, that's a new thing, Levy and Enoch out. But then he was like the third one that just said, listen, I just want Tottenham to do well. And
Yeah,
I
that's
I understand where he's coming from, but I can't believe, I don't know if he was doing it because he can't say too much because of his position, where he didn't say there's a fourth group, which is obviously people want the board out, because I've seen how volatile it's getting now for that side. I'm not saying that just to bring up Levy discussions, but I'm just surprised someone of Ali Gold's stature only did those 3 groups, if you know what I mean. I'm like, there is a fraction at the moment, but I think there's 4 categories, not 3.
That's interesting. Personally, I'm leaning in Jose out. I think you guys already know that. But I do hope he does get top 4, man. And because if he gets top 4, he gets to stay next season. But I just, after the Zagreb and Arsenal game, and then especially after the Newcastle game, I just don't see it. But I think Sunday's going to determine whether we get top 4 or not. If we win that, I think top 4
Really?
is seriously on.
You think it's that big? You think there's
That
game? That's the
because
one.
if we beat United, we have 7 games left.
Yeah, but as Brian just said,
Practically-
we'll do the damage against United, and we'll end up losing to whatever. We'll end up losing to Palace the next game.
But
You know what I
here's the
mean?
difference. When we came back and we beat Villa, right? Villa isn't a team that's gonna, build a lot of confidence. If we can beat United on Sunday, a top team, right? Because that's what we're really lacking. We're really lacking a win against a top team.
I see
And
that.
I don't know if you remember when we beat, City, or when we beat United. We actually went, when we beat United, we went on a great run. I know there was the West Ham game,
Yeah.
but we actually went on a great run. I think we need a win against that top 6 team. If we beat United, I think we'll go on a good run, and that's all we need for top 4. I think if we get 3 or 4 consistent wins, we get top 4, and I think that's going to start. And I think that's going to start on United. If we lose to United, we'll fall apart. If we beat United, I think we can go on the run.
all right. Before we get too deep in the woods, though,
Yeah.
I've got the guy who's getting Baby Shark more plays
Oh my God.
than Elvis Presley. He's here. The Canadian you got to be careful of. Is it a shark or is it a parrot? Cody Mack.
Cody,
How we doing, Mac, man?
Cody, I have to say to you how bad it's become with this blooming song, because for no reason whatsoever, I think you'd responded to my 2 Brian tweets, and then literally I saw you tweeted, so I just went Cody Mack, and even my wife turned around and said, "Why are you singing Baby Shark?" I was like, "Listen, I've got Cody Tourette's at the moment. I can't help myself."
I'm gonna tell you a funny story too, and I tweeted this out today. I'm sitting up in my office and can't remember if I was on a stream or if I was creating a thumbnail or something like that for a stream. But all of a sudden I hear my son downstairs, because that's where they do the remote schools in the kitchen. And I hear do 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 do. So I scream downstairs. I'm like, "Why are you singing the Cody Mack theme song?" He's like, "Who's Cody Mack, Dad?" That's
I think you need to release it. I think you need to release it again, Cody.
Yeah.
Have a word with them and just bring it out, because I think you've got another hit there.
Yeah. We'll have to negotiate royalties to We Are Tottenham TV, because props to Ben for coming up with it.
How did Ben know Baby Shark though? That's what I want to know. How did he just come up with that off the fly?
Well, but Ben comes up with a lot of songs,
I mean,
like
why?
the Stevie Bergwijn one. I think he was like one of the ones that started that.
But he's just recently married. I don't think he has kids yet. I could be wrong. Maybe he does. And how would he know a children's?
I have to let you know, and Danny will Tommy, sorry, will vouch for it. Baby Shark blew up in England, like literally blew up. just like Gangnam Style did and everything. It was absolutely huge in England. So
it's incredible now. It's incredible now. You've got the continuous one on YouTube where it's just like 4 hours non-stop. And when the kids listen to that, it's heartache. It's just you just want to rip your brain out and chuck it in the sea. It's horrible. But
I mean,
man, I
the
respect the music, and Ben likes his music, doesn't he? I think that's on his Twitter profile or something, like, you know, football podcaster, YouTuber, and music, something to do with music. So I don't know what's going on there, but he must love it.
Yeah. Sounds good.
One of those.
I actually didn't. Here in Brazil, I never heard of Baby Shark until like that whole like song thing. That's the only that you guys kind of taught me that.
Same here. I hadn't heard of it until Cody. I thought it was a Cody Mac theme song. I didn't realize it was actually from something else.
Yeah, same. But have we hit the Höjbjerg topic yet, or what's the topic right now?
No, we haven't even
later.
We haven't even started that yet. But no, I mean, so my just question is that I'm addicted to these types of things, and even with my eye test too, it just seems like he's had a bit of a drop in form to me. Over this one here is from where is it from? So this one comes up from the Fulham match.
Mm-hmm.
So with the Fulham match, we had ground duels weren't a whole lot. Possession lost 15 times. His passing accuracy was 63%.
Jeez, that's poor.
And he only connected with 3 out of his 9 long balls. Tackles and clearances and dribbles passed. Well, dribbles passed is a negative one. That means someone got past him. That's not too bad, but clearances and tackles for himself for 3. And then we've got Crystal Palace, which is a little bit better. Passing accuracy was 90%.
You like your baseball over there, don't you? Is that where this craze about statistics comes from? The old money ball.
No, I love to play FPL.
Okay.
So that's where the statistic joint comes from, because I have to make sure I'm on top of that in order to find those differentials.
That makes sense.
Long balls.
I've never been too much into stats. I think stats are important. I don't think Höjbjerg has been bad, but I don't think his teammates are helping him out a lot. I think they're really leaving him out to dry. And I think over the past season, he's been covering for a lot of his teammates because his teammates are poor. I mean, you got to think, defensively in that midfield, who else can do Höjbjerg's job? Not anyone.
Well, yeah, no, I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not hanging him out to dry, saying that he's.
No,
he's
I agree with you.
The team, but like even here, you got possession loss. He lost the ball 10 times.
No, I agree with you. But my issue is right now, and I think maybe in the summer, and I know Mourinho has talked about this, we might need a central midfielder that it can defend, or we just need another DM.
Levy will buy Matic.
Don't.
Because he signed Matic at Chelsea, he signed Matic at Man United. He wants 2 defensive midfielders, but Sissoko's not good enough.
You mean like Cranch with Harry Redknapp?
Yeah, possibly. yeah, possibly, very possibly. But it's no coincidence that Højbjerg's form has dropped since Ndombele's been next to him. I think that's no
I agree.
Coincidence.
I agree.
He has to do double the defensive work. That's why he's getting booked all the time as well.
Yeah.
Do you know the other thing?
Does.
Do you know the other thing I realised when Will put this out, and I did a little bit of looking into this. Why is it at Tottenham Hotspur for all our key positions, i.e. a Lloris, an Alderweireld, a Højbjerg, a Kane, we have no replacements for them? Every other position, we have a replacement for a player, whether it be right back, left midfield, right midfield, other central midfielder. But
because no one can fill their boots.
We have a replacement, it's just the replacements are poor.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, no one can fill their boots. That's the issue.
What I mean. We just have no, for the key positions, like we all know that Kane, we've needed a reliable backup for whatever since he's broken out. But why is it we have a plethora of other players for other positions, but for the key ones, it's like, okay, he's great. We can't replace him. We're not going to try and give him a rest or try to help him in any way, size, shape, or form. You're just going to have to slug it out. And this with Højbjerg, 51 games for club and country, and he normally plays 90 minutes in all of them.
That's crazy.
He's
All
shattered.
of his last 6 games were 90 minutes.
Yes, and he's shattered more because he's doing double the work the last
Exactly.
6 games, because
Exactly.
next to him.
Exactly. I mean, next season, thankfully, we got Ollie Skip back, which will help him a lot.
But you see, my issue is, guys, and
Oh.
I don't mean to make it a Jose thing, but I think we needed to go for another DM in the summer if we're going to play Jose style. Because Jose is, like you said, he's a defensive manager, right? That's not a debate. He likes to play defensively. So the double pivot between Baller and Højbjerg can work, but it won't work under Jose's discipline.
Exactly. It
won't
doesn't work when you play ultra deep. It does not work if you play ultra deep. And Ndombele he's finished. There's no point to him. We saw him in the Arsenal game. He hardly had a kick. We played ultra deep. That was it.
Højbjerg,
as far as I'm concerned.
Højbjerg, Baller would excel more under an attacking manager. That's why he was a Pochettino signing. And I think, he would excel under Pochettino. I think he would have done
I agree,
really
1 million
well.
percent. 1 million percent.
I think Pochettino could have really formed him to the Dembele figure, which was what he was trying to do. But, we just never gave Poch that time. But the issue is when Mourinho, got this team, you can't sell your highest, player. You can't, you know what I mean? He was our transfer market, highest paid player. So you can't just sell him. But he's not a Jose player. Like, Baller is not a Jose player. So it's either do you take a hit from Baller or do you take a hit from Jose? It's just tough. It's a tough situation.
I mean, I think, he's a magician. He's a magician. I mean, I went on Ndombele's a magician. I mean, Oliver Skip, you mentioned Oliver Skip now. That's one of the biggest talking points I've been doing the last week or 2 weeks. Very, very unpopular. I'm very unpopular when I talk about it. But outside Ndombele, well, Ndombele's a man in himself. You can't even say he's technically gifted because he's so unique on the turn. You can't even say outside him. It could be Winks. He's the most technically gifted. He is technically unbelievably gifted. I used to scout at Hotspur Way, and we had Pat Jennings there. I heard under his voice, I didn't speak to him directly. He was like, "This is the most technically gifted player since Glenn Hoddle." And Pat Jennings knows what he's talking about. I know he's a goalkeeping coach, but he knows what he's talking about. And it was the same thing with everyone in Hotspur Way. You listen to the coaches, Scott Parker, they're all saying the same thing. And when you watch him play, if you really watch him play, he's an outstanding player. But just like Ndombele, he does not fit in the Jose Mourinho system whatsoever. With Harry Kane coming deep, you're taking out Winks' position as well. As soon as Harry Kane comes deep, that's it. Winks can't do anything. And Skip's the same type of player. So when Skip comes next season, we're going to have he could be world-class, Skip. I think he's that good. He could be world-class. Is he going to be on the bench under Mourinho for a season? Because I can't. He's going to be like Winks. I don't know how he fits into this system, Skip. I really don't.
Well, the thing is also he can at least give Højbjerg a rest. So he can play in Højbjerg. So at least Højbjerg's not playing 51 games. I don't know if Skip will be happy with just deputising for him.
Will he do the defensive work? Is he a defensive midfielder?
Well, if you look at him, Tommy, in the 7-0 that they just had, there's things of him, and I've actually got. Funnily enough, I met my first Norwich fan here in Canada when he was working with me at Booking.com, and he watches Norwich religiously.
The Canary Boys are the best. Honestly, they're one of the best supported clubs.
Yep, and he literally waxes lyrical about him. And there's runs he sends me like the highlights of Skip every single game. Now I know it's the Championship, but he's showing. You got to remember, he's only 19. He's only 19.
I thought he's 2021. Is he actually?
No, it might. No, he's not 22. That's for sure.
He's not 2021. Jesus,
let me just check.
Mad.
Let me just check
But,
very quickly.
I don't even think he's 20. He's probably 2021. I don't think
20.
He's 22.
There he goes. He just turned 20.
Yeah.
In September, yeah.
He's a serious player.
He's got the same birthday as my youngest son.
So there you go. I mean, he has got all the potential. And the thing is, when you have a player like that, you've got to try and find a position for him. You've got to.
Mm.
And do you know what? Like you said, I mean, Jose has got a thing of just being so arrogant. Like, this is why Tanganga's right wing back, or right winger, shall I say? Because we don't play right wing backs. We just sign them for no reason.
He won't do anything with his youth. He won't do anything with the youth, Jose. I guarantee he'll look at Matic. I wouldn't be surprised if he looks at Matic in the summer. I'm not being purposely.
Mate, if that happens, he's out. I'm sorry. I'll book him a
It's
ticket.
too late.
No.
If he's got Matic, he's not out, is he?
No.
We've got another season with him if he's got Matic at least.
I don't want
that's
no
why it's
Matic
dark
in my
times for me.
club.
That's why it's so dark. It's such dark times for me.
Forget that French, bro. I'm
for
done.
me, the biggest thing that I've noticed about Höjbjerg recently is that he's still being accurate, but when he does give the ball away, he's giving it away in very dangerous positions, and it's happening quite a bit, like 7 to 15 times a game. And I think that, and not only him, but the other people around him in the midfield are doing it even more. So when you have a midfield, like take the last match, for example, that they lost possession 36 times in the midfield, that puts your back four under an extreme amount of pressure.
Mm. Yeah,
he only lost possession like 3 times. And it's the championship. I'm not saying he's as good as Höjbjerg, but I mean, if you look at
go. I'm sorry, Will.
Possession loss 2, right? I mean, that makes a huge difference when especially if you're number 6 and you're giving away possession in the defensive third. You know, that puts your back line.
The problem with him, I don't think he's a defensive midfielder, Oliver Skip. I watch Norwich quite a lot this year. He plays practically
the heat map
identically
shows he's holding. So,
but the problem with Winks is that when he's not confident, he doesn't play the square balls. He does play the easy pass. That's his biggest criticism. He plays the easy pass. And Skip in the championship, the boy's confident. He started every game and he plays the square balls that Winks used to play. And if he can come into the team, and Jose can somehow, I don't think he's going to build a team around Oliver Skip.
No.
He's not going to do that. I mean, he's a good player, Oliver Skip, and we saw that for the under-21s as well. But I don't think he's going to build a team around him. But for me, we've really got to sort the youth system out. We've got to sort the youth system out because of the homegrown situation. If we're going to get rid of Dele Alli and Winks and these homegrown players, we need some young English boys coming through. So we need to get the best out of Tanganga. We need to get the best out of Skip. But I'm definitely going to look at that in more detail, actually, because I never really looked at Skip like a defensive midfielder. But I'll definitely.
Tommy,
he's been playing as a defensive midfielder most of the time.
With your coaching skills, Tommy, what formation would best suit Oliver Skip to get the best out of him?
It's difficult. I think I love the 3 that Liverpool go with. So I love 3 flat centre midfielders. I love the 3 that Liverpool go with. I think it works on so many levels. If you've got it allows your number 10. So what would be a number 10? Obviously, if you play 3 flat, you don't have a number 10. And with Ndombele learning to play centre midfield, I think that 3 could work. Ndombele, Winks, and Höjbjerg, or Ndombele, Skip, and Höjbjerg. I think that could be magnificent. You've got the defensive midfielder, you've got the dictator of tempo, Winks/Skip, and you've got the number 10. Lo Celso can do it as well. Lo Celso can do what Ndombele does. He can. Lo Celso at the end of last season, I don't think he had the temperament to play centre midfield. He gives away too many silly fouls like Lamela. But he could learn. He could certainly learn. So I'd love to see this team play a flat 3 like Liverpool. I think it'd benefit us.
You see, I think if Skip comes in, I'm getting to a point where I'm getting sick and tired of these midfielders, and I'll just play him alongside Höjbjerg. Honestly, I saw a great comment. If Skip was an Ajax, he would be a starter. There would be no, he's too young. He's this. Like, no, he's a serious talent. Play him and let him develop. I said the same thing about Rodon. I said the same thing about, Harvey White. Well, Sirkin was injured, but no, instead we chose to play Davies. No offense. I know some of you like Davies, but Davies has been here how long? How long has it taken to improve? Has he improved? No. So if he hasn't improved in these, but if he hasn't, but listen, if you're in the club for that long, man, you got to be striving to be the first team player. Yeah, and he hasn't even come close. So if he hasn't come close, it's like the only time he's come close is because we had no option. So he hasn't improved over 7 years. Why do you still continue to play a guy who hasn't improved over that amount of years. Play the young one, develop him. That's what Jose needs to do. He needs to start, just letting Rodon, letting Taganga, if, not giving, Doherty his millionth chance, not giving Dyer his 1000th chance. These guys have messed up so much and has made us cry so many seasons. They don't deserve our backing. They don't deserve it.
Do you know what
It's
it
time
is,
for the young
Marcelo?
blood.
If it is, do you know what? And I agree with you. And if we're going to go down that route and say, right, this is the youth, and I've been saying this for a while, then what we need to do is go out all stops to get Ten Hag in from Ajax. Absolutely, whatever he needs, whatever he wants, scouting the whole thing, and then come out and say, right, we've brought him in, we're going to buy into his product that he's selling us, youth all the way, the whole recruitment and everything's going to change. For the next few years, yes, we might be a little bit like not hitting the heights we kind of expect right now because we need to get this youth system going.
Yeah.
And then I think every single Spurs fan would be like, including myself, especially with Ten Hag, if the whole thing changed when he was in, then I'd be like, okay, right now we're doing something right, because that guy has had to deal with the process over and over and over again.
110%. But I will say this: I don't want to make it a Jose in, Jose out. What Jose can do, because I don't want to have like an agenda against the guy. What he can do is he can start adapting as a manager, because he said in his sabbatical, remember, he said that he's improving as a manager. He thought about it. Well, start showing us, man, because you're not showing me anything. You're showing me the same old Jose. Start developing yourself as a manager. Start evolving a little bit, or you can start playing what the squad is meant for, attacking football. Because you know what, guys? I actually rewatched the documentary again. And believe it or not, I rewatched it. I was like, you know what? There's something wrong here.
The whole
with
thing?
These tactics.
The whole thing?
I watched the whole thing. I watched the whole thing.
Brave.
I watched the whole thing. And, when we lost to Wolves 3-2, second half, we were 2-1 up. And Jose, we were playing beautiful attacking football that game. And Jose, instead, in halftime, talked nothing about attacking football. He talked about all defensive and how to react to Wolves. I keep saying this. He keeps putting in these instructions. He can say,
we don't need to see. We need to watch Spurs All or Nothing to know that this season.
Yeah. But like he keeps saying,
at half time have been happening. We've seen it every time we take the lead. Even if you're 2-0 up, even if you're 3-0 up against West Ham, he goes negative. We draw 3-0 in the last 10 minutes. How can you go negative when you're 3-0 up? How can you go negative 3-0 up against your rivals in the last 10 minutes? You just go for the fourth. You're not gonna. They shouldn't come back. When you just ask a team to come onto you when you play deep, as he does, and we've paid the price again and again and again and again. And as you say, last season too, he doesn't adapt. Sam Allardyce adapts more than Jose Mourinho. I looked at West Brom's free formations before we played them. He changes his formation every week. At least he's trying with a very, very weak squad. He's got a good.
And the thing that concerns me,
Jose needs to adapt.
Yeah, I think he has a good squad. I think he has a good enough squad to get top four. Believe it or not, I do think so. I do think he's had many opportunities to get top four, but he's bottled it. But in my opinion, is with Jose, I was willing to give him time to get the players that he needed to get his philosophy in, the defensive philosophy. But my issue is what's going on right now, the toxicity in the dressing room. And I know, Cody, you've been quiet, so I want to hear your opinion on this. This whole Toby thing. I mean, what the fuck was this about, man?
Yeah, I don't know. But I've been waiting to chime in on the Höjbjerg situation here.
Yeah, sorry. We've been kind of all over the place.
Yeah, no, it's okay. But
we're coming on to Jose in a minute.
If you go back to when Höjbjerg signed for us, he forced a move to Tottenham because of Jose, right? Everton were in for Höjbjerg for 25 million, and he ended up coming here for 10 million less. So Höjbjerg is, for lack of a better term, a disciple of Jose. So to me, it is not surprising that his trajectory as a player has mimicked or mirrored Jose's as a manager, in that now that we are on the downside. Thing is, you just compare the two situations, right? You've got things are going great in the middle of November. Höjbjerg is looking like the midfield general that we've been waiting for years and years. Him and José are chest bumping on the pitch. Everything is tickety-boo. Now you've got X many players that are against the manager. Höjbjerg is living on an island in that dressing room, right? He is now in the minority. So it's not surprising to me that between the outside forces and the amount of games that he's had to play that we've seen a drop-off in his performance. We haven't just seen a drop-off in Höjbjerg's performance. We've seen a drop-off in Höjbjerg's passion, right? We're not seeing the fist pumps for the kicking a ball out of bounds, those kind of plays, right? He is definitely being affected by the outside factors, the noise that is surrounding the club as it regards to our manager. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops. I think that him and Skip would be a decent double pivot, especially given I think Skippy is a good defender as well. So, I mean, we obviously have a lot of needs. It's depends which direction you want the conversation to go. There's a lot more questions than there are answers, that's for sure. But yeah, it's not surprising to me that Höjbjerg has fallen off.
Do you get excited for some of these new youngsters coming in out on loan? So I'm certainly excited for Skip and Cess coming back. I really am. I think they can improve the squad, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you look at the amount of changes that the manager has made in the starting 11 this season, the only thing that he hasn't done is given the likes of Dane Scarlett, Alfie Devine, a true run in a Premier League game or a Europa League game. That's the only thing that he hasn't. That's the only card that he hasn't played. Right? He's chopped and changed as much as he can. He's reacted. He's basically done a lot of the things that we've talked about in terms of like starting 11 and substitutions. I mean, substitutions have been another issue, but I mean, in terms of team selection, he's done a lot of the things that we've been calling for.
If Vinicius can't get in the team, Scarlett's not getting in the team. He doesn't give Vinicius a run in the Premier League. So I don't see Scarlett as even an option.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's like one of the last things that he hasn't tried is what my point is.
Do you think, Cody? You're talking about him constantly like being reactive, and I understand like we called for a lot of that, but I know it's gonna sound weird and hypocritical for me, and it's gonna be contradicting myself. A lot of the changes, you know what I mean? Like when Eric Dyer, for example, has a bad game, right? Or someone has a bad game, every fan goes like, get him out. I don't want to see him next game. You know what I mean? Get him out, right? But a lot of the times managers continue with that same, like for example, Pochettino, he would usually stick with the same starting 11. It would be very hard for him to drop a player unless the player is really bad and needs to be dropped. With Mourinho, he's dropped players left and right. Do you think that maybe is like why you talked about like the whole dressing room thing?
Well, maybe, but I mean, when you go back to the start of the year, right? We had like maybe the best Eric Dyer that we've ever seen, if we're gonna like zoom in on one player, and then for weeks on end, everyone could see that Eric Dyer was costing us points in games, whether it was late mistakes that were leading to goals or the penalty against Chelsea. I mean, so it's like a double-edged sword, however you want to look at it. There are times where he has been reactionary, and there's times where he hasn't reacted fast enough. It's really hard to kind of break it down. I don't know. It's
what side of the fence are you on, Cody? I'm struggling to decipher what side of the fence you're. You don't have to be one way. You don't have to be pro José or José. What side of the fence are you?
You know what? I think if José got backed properly, that we would succeed. That's my honest opinion. I don't think at 57 years old that José is completely past it. And if you look as far back as his recent tenure at Manchester United, this is the same fork in the road that we find ourselves at that Man U did. And when they sacked José and chose the players over the manager, it set them back instead of moving them forward, right? They still haven't recovered from sacking José instead of getting rid of the players that he wanted to get rid of.
They haven't recovered since Sir Alex Ferguson left.
I don't know if
5
they.
years
I don't
before
know
that.
if they got sent back. I mean, they're getting consistent Champions League football. This is the second season in a row they're going to get Champions League football. I mean, I know they haven't won a trophy, but like, let's be real here. You know, FA Cup isn't really going to do anything for a club to win a Premier League. Look at Arsenal. They won an FA Cup. Next season, they're 10th place. They're even worse than they were before.
I'd take it over Carabao Cup any day of the week.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But Marcelo,
But,
Marcelo, if Man United had have properly backed Jose Mourinho and gotten rid of the players that he wanted to get rid of, do you think that they would be more successful now in the previous 3 years than they have been? I believe that they would have.
They did give him 300 million,
I mean,
which is a lot more than ENIC will ever give. You know,
Fair enough.
they did give him 300 million. I feel like that's backed.
That's
in my
pretty back.
opinion, that's back. 300 million is back. I think they did back him personally.
Before we get into the Jose thing too deep, who do you guys think Højbjerg replaced? Like, who did he come in? Whose spot did he come fill in the squad?
Sissoko, 100%.
Mine's
It must have been
Wijnaldum.
Sissoko. He was our only defensive midfielder at the
I'll
time,
go
and he
further
looked
back.
good there. He looked good there, but he's shown how weak Sissoko really is. We were carrying him when he was there, really, for a few seasons.
Isn't Sissoko more of a number 8?
Number 8, but we certainly played with defensive midfielders. So I don't know who else Højbjerg could be in for other than Sissoko.
I'll go even further back. You're looking at either Dembele, Sandro, or Scotty Parker.
Sandro, the beast.
Or Scotty Parker. That's how far it's been since we've had an established. Because you've got to remember, Moussa Dembele played kind of midfield, but he played kind of DM because he was just so hard to get off the goddamn ball.
Yeah.
But I think the last person we actually had, Wanyama, obviously. Oh my God, I love that man. That season.
What happened to him? What happened to him?
His knees.
His knees
Is it
went
what
out.
Was it
Where's
literally
the thing?
Yeah, he lost his knees, man.
We should have signed him a couple of years ago, but we went and got Stambouli instead because he's identical.
Stambouli.
Brian,
You've made
I'm
money
glad
on
you mentioned
Stambouli,
it
though.
because I already had it up.
Yeah, mate, I'd even go further back. Like I said, yeah, but that's what we do.
I don't know how Paris Saint-Germain signed him off us, but apparently they give us £2 million.
I nicknamed him FIFA because when I used to see him live, you'd see him run about 3 yards like you were tapping triangle, and then it just stopped because he was so out of breath. It was brilliant watching him. But yeah, I'd even go as far back as Scotty Parker, in all honesty.
So
Really?
looking at Moussa Dembele from the 16 season, because that was really kind of the last season that he was playing 90 minutes week in and week out.
Yeah.
The thing that really shows a difference here, even though they have a rating of 6 for that particular match, his pass accuracy is 94%, and he lost possession 0 times.
What a freak he was.
That was his lowest one.
I just want to ask a question to the chat. I just want to ask a question to everyone. We're talking about defensive midfield. We're talking about centre midfield. Do you know the title challenge, 16, 17? We just mentioned 16, 17 and that. Yep. What do you think the weakest player in that squad was? Because we haven't mentioned Eric Dyer at defensive midfield. He was a defensive midfield for a very long time. So who I think Dyer was the weakest man in that start. I'm not just saying that jumping on the bandwagon because he's doing poorly at centre back. He was first team in those title challenges. I feel if we had a stronger defensive midfielder, because as you said, Dembele went there sometimes, but he's not a defensive midfielder. He takes on players left, right, and centre. If we had a solid defence, even Højbjerg, I think if we had a Højbjerg in 16, 17, 17, I think we could have done that. I think we could have picked Leicester. With a solid defensive midfielder.
Do you know what? I think actually cost us that title when I was at the game when we drew with West Brom and Dele Alli punched the guy in the stomach and he got banned for 3 games. So he missed.
Yes, I remember
the Chelsea game.
He
missed. So I honestly think, I'm not trying to blame this on Dele Alli, but I think if we'd had Dele Alli for those 3 games, that would have been the huge difference.
I blame him. I blame him. He was indisciplined.
Who, Marcelo?
Dele, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I blame him for that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't blame him for costing us a title, but I partially blame him because you got to be disciplined, man. You know what I mean? Your title race, you don't do that. He let his team down there, and he let his team down big time. But I agree with what you're saying, Brian. It all went downhill after Dele Alli got sent off. When you're that important of a player, you don't see Kane doing that. You know, you don't see that type of shenanigans. It was silly from him, but
he was so key. Dele was so key. It's like a number 10 who scores as many goals as he used to, like Frank Lampard. They're worth their weight in gold. They're literally worth their weight in gold.
And he was on fire, man. He was scoring goals like just, I mean, like for fun. He was scoring goals for fun. Oh man, I missed that Dele Alli.
Well, you know what? I was at that West Brom game, and for the people that did get to see it, when you used to watch Moussa Dembele live, like you see him on TV and you think, okay, that's great. When you watch him on live, and you just see the amount of players around him, or what he does, or how he moves, it's like he was just gliding on it. It was just like he was on ice skates. He was playing ice hockey. He just glides away from people, and he just literally that arm. I've never seen a stronger arm in football. You just weren't getting past that arm, and he was dominating that
and
game.
His leg as well. His leg. You'd be surprised when you get your leg in the position. You avoid the tackle. They can't get their leg around to make the tackle. He was a master. He was a master at it. And another thing with Dembele was that as great as he was, we just never found a position for him. And Fulham signed him as a striker. We signed him with Fulham. Fulham signed him as a striker from 20. So we're talking about defensive midfielder. He was a striker at 20. So we're playing a striker at defensive midfield. So he was never made for a defensive midfield. He was never made.
Well,
for
still doing that.
I would have classified him more as a midfielder, like just a straight up CM, not so much a DM.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like an 8, 6.
That's what he should have been.
Him and Sandro together was like the greatest thing I've ever seen. Wanyama and Dembele was fantastic, but
so much.
Sandro and him, and it was such a shame that Sandro got that injury at QPR and just smashed his knee up, because that was another season we were going great guns for the title, but them two together were just like, you're not getting past this midfield. You're just not.
Yeah. You see, I think Pochettino utilized Dembele to what fit the team at that time. I think we just had so much, just so much firepower that we didn't need Dembele already there. We just needed him to kind of just, help clean up the mess and get the ball to the attack. Back then we had Eriksson, we had Dele, so Naldo was coming through. He was the new guy, but he was still coming through. We had who else? Obviously Kane. Kane was just scoring goals, like 45 goals a season. It was insane. So I think Dembele, but I don't think Højbjerg was meant to replace Dembele. I think he was meant to replace Wijnaldum. I think that's who he was meant to replace, because Wijnaldum, for me, Dembele, although he had the pizzazz and the class, and he was physical, and he could get stuck in if he had to. But for me, Wijnaldum was the tank. You know what I mean? He was the tank.
Marcelo. When I was sitting in a box for his debut at White Hart Lane when he scored the winner against Crystal Palace, and it was right on the halfway line. And literally, when they were doing the warming up, running up and down, I've never seen. I think the only thing that I could see that would rival it is Roberto Carlos.
Yeah,
these thighs were like, oh my good God!
Really, just his thighs alone.
His thighs alone, mate. Yeah. Literally,
Wijnaldum was a tank.
They were just ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it. Like live, I was like, Jesus Christ, how does he even get in those shorts?
And for me, that's Højbjerg.
We're getting into men's muscle territory, yeah.
Yeah. But listen, man. For me, like Højbjerg, he's jacked. You look at him, he's built, man. No, you know what I mean? I saw him take his shirt off and everything. I was like, geez, this guy's fit, man. He's like he can easily play like a whole season. But he just needs. I think you guys are hitting on the money.
Rest. Sometimes you need a mental rest. Sometimes you just need a mental rest. That's why I was so happy that Son actually stayed away for a little bit. He got injured because he was burnt out. Son, he couldn't do anything. He was so poor before he got injured. But it's not always a physical rest you need. You need to just sometimes take your head out of the game. Watch your teammates play. Take your head out of the game, and I think it will serve Son well. He hasn't started since he's come back. Obviously, he was on the bench the other day. I think it's going to serve him really well. And if that's why we have a great chance still for top 4. If Kane and Son get back on it, it doesn't really matter what our defence do. We can score 3 goals a game. We can score 3 goals a game if Kane and Son without a problem. So I'm confident we can get top 4. And our running shows that we can get top 4. After Man United, it's not that difficult, to be honest.
But I think the problems we're having in our midfield right now is going to really make it hard for us to score 3-4 games ago, or 3-4 goals a game.
You're going to be surprised when I tell you what was the downfall this season. You're going to be surprised. I don't know if you are. For me, I think you will. For me, the downfall this season is when we lost Moussa Sissoko. I think that's where it all went downhill. I think as soon as José lost Musa Sissoko in the dressing room is where it went downhill. After that Brighton game. Because when Musa Sissoko and Højbjerg were working that double pivot, nobody could have broken us down. Nobody could have broken. You remember how tough, if you watch the beginning of that season, how tough we were to break down. It is almost like day and night comparing this team to the beginning of the season. And Musa Sissoko was in the center of that. Him and Højbjerg, how they helped out the defense and got the ball to the counterattack was fantastic. But now
that's why I talk about Skip next season. I don't think he's the big butch. We just agreed that Højbjerg and Sissoko. Well, we didn't even talk about Sissoko. He's a tank. Højbjerg's a tank. Skip's not a tank. It doesn't fit into Mourinho's mold. Mourinho wants 2 defensive midfielders there. That's how we'll play. He will play with 2 tanks there. He's, Sissoko's 32 at the start of next season. I think he just felt like he's falling away, and age has probably caught up with him because he was decent at one stage, Sissoko. If José's there next season, he will get another tank in there. And that's why I'm afraid about Oliver Skip. I'm afraid we've got a world-class player in our hands. And if José was there and there was a little bit of correctness to what I'm saying, would you let Skip go out on loan to Norwich for another season? Would you be happy with that, boys?
If in the Premier League, which looks
in
like
the Premier League, in the Premier League, obviously.
If it looks like, which it looks like, I mean, they're so far ahead. I can't see them messing up. If he isn't going to play him, all right, he's excelled in the Premiership. I mean, the Championship. If it comes to it that we keep him, but he needs to go on loan for another season because maybe José's not there the season after, or just to prove what he can do in the Premiership. For a club like Norwich, I'm all for it because at least he'll get the minutes. At least it will show what he's made of. But
Exactly.
would I rather he stay at Spurs? Yes. But do I think the loan option would be a good move? If it's to Norwich again,
We need him.
Yeah.
I disagree with you.
We need him.
I think we need Skip, man. I think
we need
I
Skip.
disagree. I disagree with you, Tommy. I think Skip can definitely help Højbjerg with the defensive duties.
I'd like to see both of them in the double pivot.
Yeah,
I
think
that's the dream.
I think Højbjerg, my opinion, I think Ndomballer is not helping Højbjerg enough with the defensive duties, and he's leaving Højbjerg to hang to dry.
Yeah. That's why he's getting the bookings. That's why he's getting the bookings. He is.
Yeah,
but
he needs help.
As much as we think Skip will play in the defensive midfield, we just agreed that we were at our best with Sissoko and Højbjerg, the 2 units. That's why I continue to say he will go for another unit this summer. He will go for another big unit this summer, and he'll maybe push Ndombele into attacking mid. I heard someone talk about Lo Celso on the right wing, and I don't think that would be the worst thing on the planet, putting Lo Celso on the right wing. Someone said it on the stream. I was like, do you know what? That could work. And if we have Ndombele in his best position, number 10, I think Lo Celso could work on the right wing because we haven't had a decent right winger since Aaron Lennon, and I don't know what Levy's going to do this summer, but someone said that to me, and I never thought about Lo Celso on the right wing, but coming inside on his left like Son does on his right, obviously his preferred foot is his right off the left. I think it could work. I think there's something there, potentially.
I don't
Not
think
right mid, because Lo Celso's been put right mid. I'm talking 4-2-3-1, and Lo Celso up there, not far from Kane, coming inside. I think there's something there. I think there could be something there.
But in the 4-2-2-2 that we've been playing, he's been playing on the right.
Yeah, I think Lo Celso's best position is when he plays second striker at Real Betis. He practically play as a number 10 or a second striker there. I think he needs to be played in that position. I think, José trying to play him in the central midfielder just is not going to work out. Like you said, he makes silly tackles. He doesn't have the know-how on how to defend.
He hasn't got the temperament.
But then we also have the hard situation is I don't think we can play Ndomballer in the central midfield. He needs to start doing more defensive duties. He's too much of what do you guys call it? I'm forgetting the term.
Loose cannon? I don't know.
No. He's more of like a spoiled player. You know what I mean? Like he's
luxury.
Yeah, he's a luxury player. He's not a player that's gonna get in and dirty and gonna bleed and
Well, then he needs to play number 10.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
It's either Lo Celso or Ndomballer in that role. That's the issue. So then we don't have that person to play alongside Højbjerg.
Well, we don't have a right winger right now anyway. So if you want Lo Celso to play on the right, then you could play Ndombele in the 10.
That's
I don't think
exactly
I don't think Lo Celso on the right would work though.
I have to say, I don't, Danny. I still to this day, don't get me wrong. I thought he was brilliant to start off with, but I thought he was terrible at the end. I didn't rate Aaron Lennon that big, and only because like he used to be able to do a cutback to Jermaine Defoe or anything, but his crossing ability was shambolic. For crossing.
Oh
don't
yeah,
get me wrong.
He had one season. He had one season where he got it together, Aaron Lennon. But that was it. His crossing was shocking. The
cutbacks to Jermaine Defoe, like in the Wigan game, the Wigan 9-1, he tore Wigan apart, and that was the great Aaron Lennon. And if you see his cutbacks to Defoe on the near post or whatever, but he couldn't even chip it up to Peter Crouch, and it ain't that hard.
So how long have we lacked a right winger? How long have we lacked a right winger? We're going,
mate,
a long time.
Wasn't even around Chris Waddle. Where was he?
Darren
Anderson.
Okay, Anderson. I was actually thinking Chris Waddle. Darren Anderson was actually my favourite player at the time. So yeah, let's go with Shaggy. But Aaron Lennon, don't get me wrong, when he first came was fantastic, but his main job as a winger was to cross the ball back then, and he just couldn't do it.
Yeah, no, that was his. Yeah, he had a season where he scored a lot of goals, but that was definitely his crux. It was definitely his crux.
Eriksson would play kind of on the right midfield side when he played alongside Dele Alli.
Played more on the left, didn't he?
Was it on the left or was it on the right?
On the left in the 3.
He was both
playing a 4-3-3.
He was
on the left.
Perfectly both footed, so he could.
I thought Sonaldo. I think when Sonaldo started coming through, though, Sonaldo would play on the left midfield.
He would play in the front left in the 4-3-3 that Posh played at that time when he first started coming through.
No. Yeah,
Posh
we never
didn't
really
switched to a 4-2-3-1 until the 18-19 season.
Yeah,
and that was because we didn't have Wanyama or Ndombele anymore.
Yeah, we never really had a good right wing.
We talk about Levy being horrible, but what a signing Wanyama was. We got him for £8 million, didn't we?
Yeah, he was. He was a good signing.
We should have got him the season that we got Benjamin Stambouli when he said, "I want Mourinho." Pochettino came in straight away and said, "One of the first signings I want is get me either Schneiderlin or Wanyama right here, right now." And he didn't listen, and we got Benjamin Stambouli. And then literally we got him like a year later or 2 years later, and we got 1 year out of him. 1 year out of him. Out of Schneiderlin and Wanyama. Wanyama was by far the better player, in my opinion.
I just have to answer this question right here. Ratio of man smell to tattoos, 37. Sorry, man smell is kind of like my meme.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I have no idea what that means.
We were talking about the defense one time and what does a center back really need, right? Like a leadership type of guy who's really
kick your face off,
grab guys by the balls who aren't doing their job and just exude man smell. And then Bob Spur TV was watching and he apparently he unplugged his headphones just as I said it and it woke up his wife. And so his wife was like, "Why is some guy talking about man smell?"
Yeah, I get it now. It's a good shout. It's a good shout as well. Really good shout.
Yeah, I think a leader, the captain's got to exude man smell, right?
Kick your face off. If you have a bad first touch as an attacker, you want a Vidic, you want a Terry. If you have a bad first touch as a striker, I'm going to kick your face off, centre back. That's how it is. And we got nothing like that.
Michael Dawson used to be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Him and King, absolutely magnificent. When King was fit, absolutely.
And what's more equative to man smell than Old Spice?
Brute's up there.
But do they have a thing song?
They do aftershave. I thought they only done the deodorant, but they do aftershave as well, Brute. So yeah, you can put them in that category. I think it's cheaper as well. You have to go with a cheaper option, don't you?
Go with Axe
I'm
body
more of an
spray.
Axe body spray. Yeah, I was about to say. I kind of just go. All right, ready to go.
Yeah, you look like an Axe body spray, Marcel.
Do you know what? It took me ages to work out.
I don't know if that's a compliment, but I'll take it.
So Tommy, Axe is basically Lynx.
I've done a lot of traveling. So
yeah. When I first
haven't been to the States, I need to go to the States. That's my next journey.
No, you need to come to Canada.
Go to the States, man.
You need to come to Canada, my friend.
Yeah, I need to go. Yeah, 100%. I love the Mounties, man. I'm all about the Mounties. If I had my life over, I would have taken like a Mountie degree or something. I love the Mounties, man.
Mate, best decision I ever made was moving out here. the best decision ever. I could not move back to London if you paid me.
That's the
So
problem.
what do you
going
love
over there. I'll
about
try and live
Canada?
there. I'll try and live.
What do I
I'll
love
get
about-
a green card. But
What do I love about Canada? Do you know what? So my wife lived in England for 3 years, and she loves London but hated living there. London is very, very hard, and people aren't friendly all the time. It's like obviously but like when you're out and about, it's like literally I go to the same bus stop every morning here. It's like 6 a.m. and everyone's like, "Oh, good morning, Brian. How are you? What are you doing?" Everyone starts. If someone said that to you in London, they're like, "What the fuck are you talking to me?" It's 6 a.m.
Absolutely.
And it's like literally, it's when people used to say Canadians are like really friendly and really over here. Honestly, the quality of life, just the way of living, the air is fresher. Just everything about this country is just absolutely amazing. I would not move back to London if you paid me. The only
so
time
how does that differ from like a medium-sized city in the U.S.?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Well, there you go.
I think
Marcello, where are you from, man? Where you living, Marcello?
I live in the United States, man. I was born in Brazil, but I live
that's
in the
what I'm saying.
United
You've got the
States.
South Americans vibe, and you've got obviously the.
I lived
Marcello.
7 years in Brazil.
Okay.
You know, there was I mean, people in Brazil are friendly. It's just you got to be careful who you talk to, you know.
So when I go to the States, when it's COVID,
Depending on the
where's
neighbor.
my trajectory? Where am I starting? Where do I start from? If I'm going to do a month or 6 weeks. Where's the place I fly to?
Well, I mean, if you're going to travel to sightsee and do all that stuff, New York would obviously be the
New
first
York,
one.
yeah, I was about to
I
say.
suppose, yeah.
Then you probably
but you might want to leave that to the
Boston.
end. That's what I'm just thinking. You might want to leave that to the end, but yeah.
No, you want to do that
so.
first because it gets old quick.
I think everybody should experience New York City. Personally, being the New England guy, I love Boston. I absolutely love Boston. It's one of my favorite cities ever been to, and you know, I go there almost every weekend with my pals, and you know, I mean, other than the heroin addicts, it's not too bad. The city is very fun. You know, I love the pubs. I miss going to the Spurs pub. I also just miss, you know, the people there. You know, they're not the most friendly people, but I still love them anyways. I love the Boston accent. You know,
I love the Boston accent. I only really know about it from the town, to be honest with you. The bank lyrics. I only really know it from the town.
Tommy, if you were just talk slowly, people would think you're from Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
It's real slow with your British accent. It would be that's a Boston accent.
It's weird how it's so different.
It's also really cool to see the buildings, the colonial buildings and all that stuff, because, you know, it's one of the first cities to be colonized and everything. So there's a lot of English heritage in there, man. There's a lot of English, Irish, a lot of
Irish is Boston.
Yeah, a lot of Irish, yeah.
100% hitting that. 100% hitting that. What is it, the Boston Bruins? I love ice hockey. I love a bit of ice hockey.
Don't say that to Toronto people. Don't say that to Toronto people.
New England Patriots.
New England Patriots. Come on, baby.
Every year I've lived here, Tommy, in the ice hockey, the Maple Leafs have gone out to the Boston Bruins, and it's become a bit of a thing. Am I right, Cody?
Oh yeah. No, Leafs Bruins. It's a joke. Absolute joke.
But I'll say this. I can understand what Brian is talking about because I don't live in the city. I live in a very small, secluded town. Yeah, like the suburbs, you know what I mean? Like where all the rich people, I guess, are. You know, I mean, I'm not rich, but I just live around rich people.
I thought I saw a mink coat.
Marcel, next time I go to Boxborough, I'll have to give you a ring.
All right, there we go. It's just I can understand what Brian is like. You know, the air is just fresh. I just get out, I drink my coffee. There's not the toxicity from the city.
About area fresh,
nice.
When you talk about area fresh in Brighton, London is just it's just nasty.
Like
Tommy, where are you? North London?
I was born in Tottenham, Seven Sisters.
Okay,
but,
and now you're in what area do you live in?
I live in Kent.
Okay, so you're outside.
Seems what a lot of people seem to do. My stepdad did the exact same thing. He was born in Tottenham and then moved to Kent. Is that what you did?
Pretty young, yeah. I'm on the coast here as well, so it's really nice. But people are commuting here now, so it's almost becoming a second London in many ways. But I mean, there's no room. There's no room in England. There's nothing here. It's just going to get worse.
Tommy, I'll give you another stat as well, mate, which people couldn't believe. When I moved out here, I tried to find out just how big Canada was, because Canada, as you know, is just absolutely massive. So Canada, England can fit into Canada over 40 times, 40, but England has over 27 million more people in that country than we do here. It's ridiculous.
And the United States has more people than all other English-speaking nations in the world combined.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's insane.
America, baby.
America.
America. We try to be number one.
No, I would say, Tommy, you probably start in Boston, come down to New York, right? Then you might want to hit like Williamsburg, Virginia to get that old colonial feel.
Yeah.
Carolina, like South Carolina, great beaches there.
If you want to go to the beach, Williamsburg's pretty close to the beach. So, I mean, it's right there by Virginia Beach, which is there's not a real big difference. I mean, then you got Kitty Hawk, which is in North Carolina, about 35 minutes from there. You could rent a car and drive there, and that's where like the Wright brothers tested the first airplane.
I was going to say that Kitty Hawk, the Wright brothers. Yeah.
Really cool beach, OBX, and all that stuff. And then you could come across and hit like St. Louis, because now you're taking the trail west, American historical wise, and then head down into Texas, and Texas to Arizona, see the Grand Canyon, and then Grand Canyon to California.
Beautiful.
Well, let me ask you this: do you go down to South Carolina and go to Myrtle Beach? Because I love Myrtle Beach.
Dude, Myrtle Beach.
For me, I love it. I love
been there
Myrtle
so many
Beach.
times. It's like,
is it like 50 miles of beach? I heard it's like just full of bars.
I mean, the
Beach.
whole side of the country.
Beautiful.
But
Water is amazing too.
Not a lot of waves on that coast, though.
Personally, I think it's my favorite waters in the East Coast.
OBX
is the
is
Myrtle
probably
Beach.
the most popular one on the east southern.
I'm definitely
east
hitting it coast. 100%. I've got an uncle in Kentucky as well. He'll put me up.
yeah,
I'll save some.
There's
I'll save
nothing
some.
there.
I'll save
Yeah,
some
I'll go to
hostel money
Kentucky.
and hotel money of going to Kentucky. So
For why?
I've got to do New Orleans. I'm a Saints fan. I've
New
got
Orleans
to go
is
to
cool.
New Orleans. Got to.
No,
During
Drew
Mardi
Brees,
Gras. That's
I don't know
place
much
is cool.
about NFL, but I know Drew Brees won't be there. He's not going to be there anymore.
Yeah.
What's happening there?
Do you know what? Do you know what the way? Shall I announce it? Okay. So I'm gonna tell a story why I support. I just hope this person isn't listening. So I support the Saints for one reason. Well, I came here and I've really got into NFL. I can't believe I'm telling this story. I've committed to it, so I'm going to do it now. So when I came out here, I didn't know to support. Now, back in the day when I started following it, I used to love Jerry Rice, who played for the 49ers.
Right,
But the 49ers wear red, and I can't support anything with red. So I was like, right, I can't support them.
Yeah.
So for obvious reasons. So I'm not going to mention the person's name, but there's someone. So it came to the playoffs, and the Carolina Panthers were in there. Now, there is someone, and Will, I don't mean to quote, this isn't about you. Let me just say this straight. Someone who I despise now, who I used to love.
Would hope that's
now
not me then.
despise. No, I still love you, Will. So you're all good. Despise now lives in Carolina, and the way he lives there is he did a lot of stupid stuff in England to my family, and he had to get out of the country because he had trouble with the money and whatever. So he met a woman from Carolina on a cruise and got married for the green card. So it came to the point that the Panthers were in the playoffs. I said, you know what? Panthers are now my fucking Arsenal. And I was like, whoever knock out the Panthers is who I support.
Who would you above Enoch? Your hate?
Nothing's above my hate for Enoch. nothing.
Really? Even Arsenal? Arsenal?
Mate, listen, I called your bluff on this. Marcelo, I called your bluff on it before, and I'm going to call it again.
He said he hates
I hate
more than Saul
Enoch.
Campbell.
Exactly. That's the level of hatred I have for Enoch.
All right, wait. What's the level you hate Enoch? Because I'm telling you, I hate Arsenal more than anything in this world, man. I'm telling you.
I hate Arsenal more than, or not as much as I hate Enoch. Not as much as I hate Enoch.
Dead.
Not as much as I hate Enoch. It's got
Really?
that brutal.
Marcello, you're not going to like this. You're not going to like this, Marcello, my friend. But I hate West Ham more than I hate Arsenal.
What?
I hate
them. Mate. West Ham for me is just like
West Ham fans.
they're just the
fans.
thing about West Ham. I don't really care about them. They're just shit. Like Chelsea fans are like half of them are plastics.
Man, they're gonna finish above us this season. So
okay. Oh, congratulations. They can celebrate that. In my opinion, like I just hate fucking Arsenal so much. I hate their fans. I hate their fan base. I hate just like how deluded they are at this moment about like, you know, they still think they're like a top club when they're not.
Hold on.
You know, and
I need to answer Cricket Records question real quick.
Oh, he's back.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
He's back.
I like these little interludes.
Like, mate, and then like the whole after like the, you know, like just reading up the history and the whole Sol Campbell situation, just like the amount of hardship they've given our club.
The problem is West Ham still think they're a big club. They finished 5th in 1996 under Harry Redknapp. They still think they're a big club from that. At least, you know, Arsenal won league titles. The West Ham fans are just horrible.
Yeah,
horrible.
but what Arsenal done to us, man, like for me, it's unforgivable.
Judas, man. The Judas thing is just
just winning the league and their home. Like, dude, there's so many things that these guys done to us. And you know what I mean? And they always been like our big brothers for so many years. And you know, like I just fucking hate them, man.
Do you know what it is as well, Marcelo? Do you know what it is? What happens? I can understand where Danny's come from. We're speaking about it off air. When it comes to Spurs Arsenal, the rivalry is very, very fierce. Like, it's intense, but it's very geographical. There's been the odd racist kind of comments from both fans, but it's very, very rare that there's racism. It's just pure hatred for geographical reasons. Whereas West Ham Spurs and West Ham Chelsea, Spurs Chelsea, those fans get very, very, very racist. They really do.
No, that's true.
Probably Chelsea more so. Yeah, probably Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea's more.
Yeah,
I know, but even with Son,
about as equally as Arsenal, to be honest.
Yeah, even with Son, man. Son, when he played against West Ham, and you know when Son was scoring goals for fun against West Ham, I remember they were doing like Asian racist chants and stuff like that, and that was sickening, man. Like I couldn't believe it.
That was this year.
And
I think.
I think it was last season.
No, there's one this season too.
Did they? Well, that's terrible. I think
I'm gonna try to bring Sashant in, and if you guys remember Sashant from last time, he had the one that had the audio issues. So we're gonna try.
Okay, 1 sec.
There you go. Sashant, can you hear us? Try to unmute yourself.
Do you get many Brits on it this time? I've seen a couple.
He's actually from Nepal. So I get people from all over the world to come on.
Hello, can you hear me, guys?
Crazy. Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello, guys. That's great, guys. That's great.
Yeah, you're good, man, and no feedback. You're good. Brian, you can put your headphones back.
I have done, mate. I saw everyone's reaction. I was like, fantastic.
Yeah, it's got to sort it out. Good job. Welcome to the show.
But what I was about to say is, and I'll leave it at this, and then we can go next topic.
Yeah.
But I always say, I hate Arsenal because I'm a Tottenham fan, but I hate Chelsea because I'm a football fan. That's the big difference.
Hate Chelsea because you're human.
Yeah. Like I hate they're everything that's wrong about football. Chelsea is.
Yeah, the whole Abramovich era. So what about this for a question? Would you sell your soul, the Spurs soul, to have the money Man City? The whole Abramovich.
110%.
Chic effect. Would you sell your soul for that?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Football is about money nowadays, baby. You know what I mean? Chelsea and City changed the game, and you know, like screw it, bro. Like for me, it's not selling his soul. I just want to see. We deserve this, bro. Like look at Brian, man. Like Brian sometimes like he looks like he's about to nearly crack under Enoch. You know what I mean? I'm
new to the whole Spurs community, but I know that. Yeah, even I know that.
Bro, like I'm about to crack sometimes. Like this is therapy for me. You know, like 100%.
You said this. I'm just gonna put a picture up that I've shared on the Spurs family. This is why it goes to show why my level of Enoch. See if I can get this picture in.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
So wait, let me get the camera in. So that's the level of trophies won since 2008.
Bring that up on here. It's 0 to 5, 8, 12, 14.
And Man City have 14, and they were bought that year that we won the cup, 2008.
And
So since
that's why I
2008
agree with Marcello. That's why I agree with Marcello. We deserve it. Man City didn't
we
deserve
deserve
it. Man
it.
City were
They
going
didn't.
between League One and the Championship, and then
They
much
weren't
lower.
a big club. They weren't a big club.
Historically, they're a
Chelsea.
big
Fan
club.
base.
Historically, they had the historically the 70s. They're sort of a big club, but for 30, 40 years, they were nowhere to be seen. Kevin Keegan trying to keep him in the Prem. Stuart Pearce trying to keep him in the Prem.
But I mean, Chelsea was on Fulham's level before Abramovich bought him.
Yeah.
No.
They had
Chelsea,
no money.
no. I disagree.
They
Chelsea
literally had no money for 2 years. They had absolutely nothing. They're in huge debt. But Chelsea, they mid-90s, they were okay. They were top five, six. They were always top 5 or 6.
Yeah, they weren't as bad as City. Like City was awful. City were like there were nobodies. They did not deserve that takeover.
The thing that bothers me the most about Arsenal fans is this. I mean, most of their fans, 99.9%, because not all. I can't say all because that would be illogical. But this is the intelligence level of an Arsenal fan.
Spell red.
Red, L-S-T-E-R.
Beetlejuice. I love that. Oh,
Can't even spell their own colors.
Yeah, no, they can't. No, but I mean, like for me, Arsenal will always still top the cake, though. Arsenal will always top the cake as my most hated club. But
same.
But as to answer your question, Tommy, I think we all here deserve a takeover. I would love for like a sheik to come in and just splash money and just see us lift Premier League, Champions League.
Jack doesn't want
I would love to have won the 16-17 year or the 17-18 year, then have the heavy investment, because to have won with 5 million signings like Dele Alli and the Wanyamas, and
it would be more merit.
It would have been something very, very special, Leicester-esque in a way. But,
I would say this: Liverpool, even though they've won less titles, I think what they've done then compared to Pep, like what Klopp has done to Liverpool compared to Pep, I think it's been way more impressive. I think what Klopp did in Liverpool is way 100%. More special than anything City has done, in my opinion.
100%.
You guys, let me put to you this way:
Marcelo,
are you guys jealous of Manchester City fans? Would you trade places with a Manchester City fan?
Like support City? No.
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
No.
Why not?
Because I hate their badge. I hate everything about them. They're shit.
No, but listen.
No.
If I had to sell my soul, I would sell my soul to make it so that trophies weren't a representation of spending. That's what I would sell my soul for. I wouldn't sell my soul so that our owners would spend and spend until we won a trophy. That's not what I want. That's not what I want for football. What I want for football is for there to be, going into a season, you have 6 to 8 teams that can win the trophy. Not because of how much they spend, but because of the quality that they bring. That's what I want.
Yeah, but that's not realistic. That's
if you
that's
want,
not realistic.
Whatever. We're not talking about realism here when we're just talking about whether or not we want someone to come in with billions of dollars and buy Tottenham Hotspur and spend fucking billions of dollars and buy us trophies. That's not realistic.
I would love that.
So if we're not talking about realism, let's not talk about realism.
All right. No,
that's why I love watching the Championship. That's why I love watching the Championship, because it's not completely overtaken by money, yet it's still a very, very good league. And 10 teams can get promoted. 10 teams can easily get promoted. And you've got the playoffs, 46 games. I love the Championship. Outside the Premier League, I watch the Championship, maybe Serie A. That's probably what I watch outside the Premier League. And there's still enough money and quality. We talked about Oliver Skip not long ago. He's been so good. Can he make the step up next season? I'm pretty sure he can. And so I love the Championship for that very reason. 8, 9, 10 teams can get promoted, and it's you lose something. The difference between back in the day was the managers. Alex Ferguson and Wenger were just so far ahead. Now it's money. Now it's simply money. It doesn't.
For this question, I'll call my buddy Jeff, and he can have me be the new chairman. No, I'm kidding. I don't know Jeff Bezos, and I don't have near enough money. We can start a GoFundMe.
I'd love to, mate. Believe me, I'll be a prime. I mean, I can tell you guys, the day that Levy does sell the club, people are going to want to get me on YouTube because I will be doing lots of crazy things. It'll be like I have no idea what I'll be doing that day. But like we said, and like Alistair Gold said, it's a there's no point even talking about it as much as I'd love to, because it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen for a long time.
He's staying, man.
And this is the thing. I mean, I know for sure I'm going to get more and more annoyed, and I'll go more and more mental, and the shouting and screaming will get even more toxic. But it's not going to do anything. It really isn't. And it's got to the point now where even recently, you've all seen. I've spoken about him, but I haven't really gone in, just because I'm tired. I'm tired of spouting the same nonsense and it getting nowhere. So we've just got to accept that it ain't happening for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, I don't know if it's... I know right now it looks, very dark, Brian. But you got to remember, there was also a point that we were very close in actually getting the Premier League and the Champions League. And since we were close once...
And there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
And it seems if we were close once, we can be close again. And I think this summer, it's going to really dictate the direction that our club goes. And it's all up to the board. Because if the board actually decides to back José or back whoever the next manager is, I think we can actually build something, and we can actually do something in the next coming of years. But if they don't, we're going to go backwards. We're going to be in the 90s. We're going to be in the dark ages again. It's going to be.
Will, can you bring back that comment from Ronak Khanna, the third last comment? Tottenham is something special. Spurs fans are the best fan base in the world, and that's why I became a Spurs fan 3 years ago. I would not trade our badge for anything, even if no trophies.
I agree.
You tell me who among us, as Spurs fans, as living Spurs fans, are Tottenham fans because of trophies?
I'm not.
Well,
but the thing is, I want to see it. Obviously none of us.
Well,
I would love to see
I was born in Tottenham. I didn't have much choice, to be honest with you. But, yeah.
This whole argument that trophies are the be all and end all as to whether or not you're a successful club is fucking garbage. It's garbage.
It's garbage. And we're talking about the Carabao Cup final. Do you know we're going to get how we got to this Carabao Cup final? We entered in the last 16. We beat Chelsea on penalties under Lampard, Stoke and Brentford. We beat Chelsea, Stoke and Brentford.
Remember we got a buy as well. We got a buy against Leyton Orient as well.
We entered in the last 16. The whole point of the trophy is because you achieved something. You can look back on it and say, "Look at this run; it was amazing." Even in 2008, we beat Arsenal over 2 legs. We smashed them 5-1 in the semi-finals. We beat Chelsea in the final. It was only the League Cup.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
It was a proper run.
The thing is,
this is not Brentford and Chelsea on penalties.
But the thing is, Cody. Yes, I would never trade in being a Tottenham fan, for any trophy. I would never. I would never, I love Tottenham. I'm Tottenham till I die, no matter what. But if we want it, I also want to have memories in Spurs where I can go back and say, you know what, you remember that squad? Remember when that special moment where we won and lifted the Premier League and Brian was crying? You know what I mean? Everybody was crying. Everybody was just hugging. I want to have a moment like that, bro. You know what I mean? We deserve it.
Cry for a Carabao Cup, though.
I would, bro. Honestly, if we win the Carabao Cup and it's a last-minute winner, I'm crying. I'm running around my room. I'm crying.
Come off
the
it.
last-minute
Come
winner.
off it.
2-0. We scored the first 2 goals in the first 15 minutes.
What do you mean, bro? For me, I've been so starved for trophies. I'm like,
yes, Wayne Bonner. Show Wayne Bonner's comment. Yes. That is what I'm talking about, right there.
I just wait. Maybe it's because I'm American, right? And maybe it's because they changed the name, right? I think they should go back calling it the League Cup, because an energy drink cup is ridiculous.
It's all about the money.
It makes it about as equal to me as the Audi Cup.
I even remember it wasn't sponsored, but it used to be called the Milk Cup.
Jeez,
bro, I take a keychain right now, man. I'll take anything.
We got the Audi Cup.
I was happy winning the Audi Cup.
When Brian put the statistic up about how many trophies we won since 2008 compared to the big clubs, I mean, what did the Carling Cup do for us in 2008? It didn't lead to more trophies.
They
did it?
didn't do fuck
No,
all.
but it was a trophy.
I think.
It was a trophy.
What'd you say, Shashank? Yeah, speak up, my man. You said something?
Any opinion regarding?
Regarding what?
Hello, you guys hearing me?
It's cutting in and out, my man.
There's
Yeah, man,
a
just
big
say-
delay.
But as I was saying though, like, bro, like this club, what it does
Hello.
to you, it is honestly. Oh, are you back, Sushant?
Yes, I'm back. I'm back. Yes. Any opinion regarding offloading this 6th player? We're gonna get 121 million in this transfer window. If you can get rid of this 6 players. Any opinion regarding?
Who are the
this?
6? Who are the 6? I know this is off another channel or something. Who? What's this 6 about?
Could it be? Are you talking about
The
David and
frenemies?
I? Yeah, the frenemies thing, where I said we should
No,
sell
no,
Lo
it's-
Celso and then
it's
get some other players.
No, not Lo Celso, Marcelo. I don't think it's Lo Celso. I think it's Sanchez, Sauz Arier, and then other 3 players, Harry Wings, and
Delhi.
I forgot another one. Transfer value is around.
Are you talking about the
120
people that were in
121
like Ali Gold's article?
Get
Did you see that, Brian? Ali Gold's article said
so-
that there was like
So the thing is, when you look at it, Will, those 6 players that seemed, or the players that get mentioned, I agree with, need to go.
in their spot.
But you're
their
not
spot.
get- you-
source, reliable source. I think.
Okay. So you're not going to get those 6 players out in one window. That's for sure.
Yeah,
And you're
exactly.
Not with
starting-
Steve. Not
you-
with Steve Hitchin.
And the thing is, even if you get them out, it's going to take time for them to get the right deal for them to sell it to us. Now, I've said it on any channel I go at. For me, I would be happy if we just made 75 mil. I don't care how we get there. Just go buy Skriniar. The first thing we need to do, Mourinho said it at Manchester United, he wants a strong centre-back that he knows he can, like a John Terry, like a Carvalho, like a Varane, like a...
Yeah.
Because he's been banging on about this centre-back at every club he goes to. And every club he goes to, he's got the proof that he has a defender, he wins a trophy. Or it's like his putting his
I
flag
think
in the...
it's going to be fulfilled.
So I think it's got to be, I don't care how we do it, even if we just sign one player this season, if we went and got a Skriniar
honest.
as that one
But-
person, I would be over the moon.
We
Over the
can't get
goddamn moon.
Skriniar is never going to come to us in a million years. Inter Milan have won the Scudetto. They've won the Serie A.
Well,
Yeah.
No chance now.
That ship
You're-
has sailed.
No chance.
That ship has
You're
sailed,
right.
buddy.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You say that, and I'm going to contradict. Or I'm not going to go. The thing is,
We should
money
have signed him
talks.
last season when we
And
had the
what about
chance.
Barcelona?
Mate,
That was the thing. That's the chance. We
Mate,
had the
Yeah, that
chance.
was the chance.
That was
Yeah,
the
he's
play.
not gonna come.
if he had signed him for the 45, he would have already made 30 million. Because apparently it's 75 now.
Absolutely.
So, for
Absolutely.
10 million, that's the bit I don't get. This great businessman doesn't understand speculation.
And the same with Grealish. And the same with Grealish.
No.
5-10 million
And with
pounds.
Dybala, and with Eden Hazard, and with Fernandez,
You're gonna give Brian
with-
a heart attack.
and with
You're letting-
and
he's
with
already
Mane,
going.
and with mate, I could literally. Do you know what I've said to myself? I'm either going to do.
I really think we can get him.
I'm going to do a remix of either All I Want for Christmas
I'm doing
with
all
all the
the
players
time.
we could have
Yeah.
had, or Mumbo number 5 with all
Get
the
Ben
players that we
involved.
could have sold.
Ben loves a bit of audio, doesn't he? Get Ben involved. He said
Exactly.
that at the
Oh,
start.
and I can get
man.
Will on. Will's got all the technology to do it. So watch out for Christmas number 1.
Touch.
The Daniel
touch,
Levy hit list.
touch. Yeah,
Well,
man, let's
guys,
do it.
I gotta go to sleep. I got work tomorrow. I gotta wake up at 5 a.m.
all right,
it
Marcel.
was a
Thank you for
great talk.
joining us for the first
Yeah, come
half
on.
of the
Brother.
show.
Always a pleasure.
We
Always a
didn't
pleasure,
get to your
guys.
favorite
Good, man.
topic, but
Yeah, I really wanted to
Thank you,
get to the
Marcelo.
Jose
Bye-bye.
topic,
Good
but
night.
I have to go
Dream
to
of
sleep.
the
You
Audi
guys have a good
Cup.
one.
Dream of the Audi Cup. You're
All right,
gonna
buddy.
do
We'll
that.
see you
I'll
later.
be
We'll be on
I'm dreaming
again
about that.
Saturday
I'm dreaming
night.
about that Carabao Cup and that top 4, baby, and that top 4. But I
Marcelo,
also
Jose
listen.
in or Jose out?
Oh, I'm Jose out. But as I was saying, guys, you are allowed to celebrate.
Sometimes
a
my
Carabao Cup.
genius is. It's almost frightening.
You are allowed to celebrate that Carabao Cup because you know why? this is the best fan base in the world. There is no other fan base that goes through hell and back, right? Like Tottenham fans. We get so close and yet so far, and we have had the most heartbreaking games that would break any fan base, and we still stand together and we do these videos today. So if we win the Carabao Cup, you're allowed to cry, you're allowed to celebrate it, because fuck it, we deserve it, bro. Fuck it. That's our day. That's Tottenham's day. Don't let anyone take it away from you. Come on, you Spurs.
All
Let's
right,
go.
take it easy, Marcelo. We love you.
Laters,
coming on.
Marcelo.
We'll see you next time, my man. And as one goes, one comes in.
Bye-bye. See
I
you
feel
later.
awake. You know what? It's like, I don't know what the title is like.
How you guys
I
doing?
feel awake. I feel awake, man. I've got to go for a run soon. But,
Yeah.
I feel awake.
We got to get an hour and a half of the show left.
You still got Serious.
Right.
This is the Will Show.
I'm serious.
What's up, Awesome?
How you doing?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
good,
I've just
mate.
got an hour and a half left.
Yeah, you don't have to stay on the whole time.
No, but I'm a workhorse. I like to,
Yeah.
you know, I like to give it my all. But hour and a half, that's pushing it. As I said, I need to go for a
how
run
you
in the
guys all
morning.
doing? I mean, I've been listening to you guys for a minute now, and my thing is, it is what it is. And my thing is, if I was gonna ask Marcelo the question, but he's gone now. If any of us are really the coach or the manager presently, how far can we go with this? It's gonna be the same thing. Even if they brought the guy from Leipzig here, RB Leipzig here, it's still gonna be the same thing. This is why Poch left in the
That's
first
my
place.
position on it. Like nobody's asked me my position on Levy or on
Yeah,
Jose.
this is why Poch.
And that's a good.
Poch was complaining at the end of everything. He even came out on TV and said, "This play, even though it took in everything about the players, he literally wanted to say these players are crap. These players are like his third tier. It's not even his second choice. The players are third choice."
Yeah, I'm
playing
gonna sit on the
protesters.
fence pro because that's my point. Is what does it matter if we don't get rid of the deadwood this summer?
Yeah.
What does it matter who comes in? Because nothing is going to change.
It's about let's keep bringing new. You're asking us to bring in new coach over and over and over and over, and the same thing keep happening.
Yep,
I don't think we've changed it. I mean, we had Pochettino for 6 years, and we've had Mourinho for a year and a half. So we've had 7 years. We've had two managers. I don't think we've changed it. I don't think we've changed it that much, really, compared to a lot of other teams.
Yeah, but my point.
Well, from Redknapp to Poch was kind of a
but my point I'm making is
swashbuck of
Poch
managers.
was using these players that we are using presently. This wasn't his first choice. This was like his third choice players.
Chelsea are successful. They change their manager every 2 years.
They change their player, but
Conte. They went titles under
the difference
Conte.
between
But they spend
Tottenham-
200 million every summer.
There you go. The
Yeah.
difference between Tottenham and us, Tottenham and Chelsea, is because Chelsea spent 200 million every summer, whatever. But Tottenham throughout the whole 5 years, they only spent 75 million.
And that's the big
whole
thing.
5 years.
And that's the big thing. But
And-
managers can still make errors.
And you are
Managers can still make
expecting-
errors.
And you're expecting to win the Champions League, or you're expecting to win the Premier League. It's not gonna happen. It's
So
never
you
gonna
can't
happen.
I understand that, but you can't just give him a free rein, Mourinho. If a manager's not in charge, of the team selection, the substitutions, the strategy, the motivation, which in Dynamo Zagreb was a complete and utter joke because it was 0-0 half time. If the manager's not in, if he's not culpable for those, what's a manager culpable for? If none of those things a manager is culpable for, what's a manager's job? I don't know what a manager's role is anymore.
So do you know the thing, Danny? The thing that I don't like about where we've gone is like if you look at Liverpool, they got rid of Rodgers, an attacking coach that likes to play attacking football, and got in someone like Klopp that does the same thing. Now, if you go back in time, we went from Harry Redknapp attacking, AVB defensive, Tim Sherwood stopgap, Pochettino attacking, Mourinho defensive. There's no. If you're going to stick with the philosophy.
No continuity.
And say, right, I want to. What's the point of buying all these attacking players and then getting in, like Chelsea did with Conte, and then like Conte did with Chelsea did with Conte, Sarri, and then bringing in Lampard? Why go from a defensive team to then buying attacking players to then going to a defensive manager to then go to an attack. It makes no sense. I don't care if we went 3 defensive managers in a row. I'd rather 4 attacking managers or 3 attacking managers in a row. But if you're going to stick to something and build from there, at least have the manager that's on the same kind of, this is the style of football I play. So when a manager comes in, the players are there.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the bit I don't get. And that's not me having a dig at the ball. But I just don't understand. If you look at all these other clubs, Wenger, they tried to go with Emery, it didn't work. So they went for an Arteta who's more what a Wenger. There's got to be somewhere where you go, right, I want a philosophy and identity. So the next few managers, regardless of what style it is, we're going to stick to one style and just have that. So when it comes to the managers are already on a losing spot because you got players that are the opposite to what you play.
Absolutely. I've got a show happening tomorrow, and I'm talking about the Mourinho replacements, and it's funny because I know one in particular is going to be very, very unpopular, and that's Sarri, the one you mentioned. I love Sarri Ball. I love Sarri Ball. He won the Europa League with Chelsea. He finished 3rd, right? Unbelievable at Napoli. Finished 3rd with Chelsea in his first season, won Europa League. The 3rd behind Man City and Liverpool, who 98 points, 97 points, incredible season. He went to Juventus, won the Scudetto last season. They're not going to win it this season. I know they won 10 on the bounce. It wasn't the hardest job in the world. But they still got Cristiano Ronaldo, and they're not going to win the Serie A this season. So he's still done a job everywhere he's been. And Sarri Ball, it's a horizontal tiki-taka. So it's same as tiki-taka, but it's horizontal. That formation would be absolutely perfect for Oliver Skip and Harry Winks, where the centre midfield is so key. It's all about the centre midfield driving. Like Jorginho was a massive part at Napoli, Sarri at Napoli, and then he went to Chelsea, and he was a massive part of that. It would work so well with our squad. I feel it's unpopular. And tomorrow I'm going to be looking at a number of other managers as well. But it's a thought. It's good to put things out there. And I think,
please
I like
tell me
Sarri
Ten
Ball.
Hag is on that list.
Who?
Ten Hag from Ajax.
Oh right, yeah. Yeah, I'm compiling it. I've got like 6, but yeah, he's definitely going to be there.
All right, awesome. All before you go, I want to say, I don't mean like leave. I mean like before you interject, I want to throw the question out to kind of throw the conversation that way. Do you guys think Jose intentionally lied about Toby?
Yes.
What about you,
Yes,
Tommy?
I do. Like I said it, I can't remember where I said it on. I think it was on Paxton Road's channel. Yeah, it was on Paxton. Well, I think if you look at it, it's coming to the point now where he doesn't know where to go or what to do anymore. He's tried anything and everything. Like Cody has said on many times, and Cody has such great views when it comes to Jose Mourinho and the squad, and I have to commend him. He sometimes puts me in my place. And as I know, I can be quite outspoken. So he does it. It's like I said, he's tried all these formations. We've asked him to go attack and he's done it. We've asked him to do this, he's done it. And it hasn't come across and that's because of the players and not getting the backing and whatever. But he's tried absolutely everything. And I think it's getting to the point now where, like I said, he normally comes in, whenever he goes to a club, it's normally 3 years, win a trophy, and in the 3rd year, he turns things toxic. Well, Tottenham have done things the opposite way and in half the time. It's been 18 months. We haven't won anything, and it's already going toxic. And we're breaking Jose. We're going to be the only club where he hasn't won a trophy.
He's never stayed at a club. He's never, ever been at any of his clubs for over 3 seasons.
Exactly. And, well, mate, it's what's already happened in 18 months normally takes 3 years. And it's got to the point now where I think he's just firing messages at the board and making himself like this. Because if you look at it, if Jose gets sacked, he walks away right now with stupid amount of millions. And it won't be on him that he didn't win a trophy. It'll be, I didn't get the backing, I didn't get this, I didn't get that. So either way, whether he's meaning to or not, I think Jose is now like, there's nothing more I can do. I've tried every single trick that I've got that normally works for me, and it's not working. So I'm now going to literally do whatever. And I honestly think he's got a little bit in his head of, I can't take this anymore, but I don't want to quit. I really do. And I don't blame him.
the contract he's on is so massive that there's absolutely no chance he's going to resign. That's why he's deflecting everything. He deflects every interview. He deflects it to the players.
What reason does he have to lie, though?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that as such. I'm not interested in interviews, to be honest with you. So there's so many mind games. There's so many mind games, and did he get the press, psychology or something? I don't know, something like that.
I'll explain it shortly from how I viewed it on my research this afternoon, in preparation for this video. Is that there was a photo that was placed on Spurs social media, welcoming Son back to training, and behind Son is Toby, and this was posted on a Thursday. Mourinho says Toby didn't come back and wasn't available at training on Thursday. Then the press comes out and says a source with knowledge about the incident, the British press, mind you, says that Toby was at practice on Thursday. Now, the club hasn't come out and denied. Toby hasn't come out and said that's true. Nobody's talked about it further, for or against. And all we have is a photo. Now, as a person who manages social media accounts myself, I recycle photos all the time. It could have been a photo from 3 months ago.
It is, yeah. I mean, the propaganda and the media, it's incredible. It's incredible the power of the propaganda and the media. So,
and if there was an actual source, why not just name it?
That's why I don't really listen to it. I care what happens on the pitch, to be honest with you. What happens on the pitch is all I can really judge.
Up. Bobspur TV.
That's all I can judge. That's all I can judge, really. But yeah. I mean, it's a media world. Social media is taking it to an absolute new level. So one thing can just blow up like that. Is anyone that angry about it if he's lied or?
So do you know what it is as well, Tom? I'm going to come across with a view now, or it's not my view, but listen, when I can't sleep or whatever, I'm a member or I subscribe to TalkSport, so I watch a lot of the TalkSport videos that they do.
Okay.
And Simon Jordan is very outspoken. And Simon Jordan and Jim White, love him or hate him, he just winds stuff up. He just looks for and it all came out about that interview about when they said, Jose, you're brilliant at keeping leads. Why can't you do it? And he said, same manager, different players. And apparently the Spurs players got annoyed at it. But Simon Jordan went on to say, do you know what? What has Jose said wrong there? He has said, same manager. It's Jose Mourinho. Different player. And it is. And then he said, do you know what? Whenever Jose says something bad, you are all over it like a rash. But when, for instance, he says the great things like when Harry Kane deserves man of the match for his 4 assists against Southampton for setting up, he goes, no one said, oh my God, look at Jose Mourinho, the nice guy, saying he should be mad at. But the second he says something bad, it just erupts. And the way you look at it is Jose Mourinho spoke the truth. It may have pissed off a load of people, and I can understand why it did, but what he said is factually true. So when it comes to the media and the propaganda and all this stuff, it's like what he said is wrong. He's been stupid for the whole Toby situation. It really has. Like I said, it could have been a regurgitated photo, but it's pretty. You know when your players have come back for training. You know as a manager when your players are there, and I think it's just because it's the back of this. Like someone said yesterday, if we'd won that game against Newcastle, this story would be dead. It would be dead. No one would even talk about it because we lost.
No one would have asked the question in the first place.
Exactly. And then no one would have said it. But because we lose, they know Jose sells papers.
Oh, absolutely. As that commenter just said, there's a commenter that just said, because Sanchez played so badly, that was why this come out as well. Because, really he should be beside Rodon. I think most people agree with that. Toby should be the one beside Rodon.
Yeah, but talking about Sanchez as well, I've got to again come out and say, do you know what? Have you seen how bad it's got with Davinson Sanchez?
And I just think that there's a lot of.
It got worse again. It got worse again yesterday. It got worse again yesterday. In the comments I saw on the post that Davinson Sanchez put, and I'm not going to go into them because I'm not going to condone it.
I would like my channel to stay on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh no, that's the thing. I mean, I wouldn't go into graphic detail, but even when he came out and said nothing changes. That's all he said. Nothing changes. They found a way to even be, and I'm just like, do you know what? Whether it's Spurs fans or so-called Spurs fans, because they're not Spurs fans if they're claiming to be, what vile individuals there are.
It's a sad world when you see things like that. It's a sad world when you see things like that.
It's vile. Vile.
As I say, I'm from North London, so I'm mixed race, and yeah, it's awful. It's awful, and you know, it's based on absolutely nothing. And they've got to get a grip of this on Twitter. They've got to do the passport checks. They've got to get a grip on it. Sometimes there's not much you can do because they're idiots. There'll always be idiots. But to be racist, to be an idiot, as far as I'm concerned. Yep. But when it's at the grounds, if you hear racist comments at the grounds, that's it. You don't ban them for 2 weeks or for the rest of the season. They're gone. They don't go to any ground, as far as I'm concerned. And social media, as I say, you've got to give them a passport. That's where we start. That's where we start.
Damn right.
If you can be caught on tape, I thought it was a lifetime ban.
If you're caught on tape, yes, it is. But obviously, if once someone's reported it, then you've got to try and get the tape, which they can get. But this is the thing, like we're saying, and like some people said as well, and I'll say now, when we did our first Tottenham away YouTube, we got banned straight away, or not banned, but because we showed a bit of Premier League live footage, which we shouldn't have done, and obviously we didn't know the YouTube rules and whatever, immediately they blocked it until we took out the bits that we needed to, and then we were allowed back on. That took over a week, and that took us emailing in constantly saying we've updated. Yeah, if you report racism on social media, it takes them 3 to 5 days to get back to you, and then they say, yeah, we looked at it, we don't condone it as racist, it stays up.
Yeah,
but
I think you said that on another channel. I saw that somewhere.
Within seconds, and that's what it's got to the point. And one of my best mates,
my first ever video, live watch along. At half time, I always like to have a refreshment at half time. I leave the stream for a few minutes, and I'll put the Jedi music on. You know, the Star Wars Jedi music, the entrance music, the Spurs. Yep. And then it was the next day. It was probably within an hour or 2 hours. I went to bed not long after. It was that you violated the YouTube stuff, and we're going to have to delete you're going to have to edit your video and stuff like that. And then you're saying it takes 3 or 5 days for racist activity. It's people have got their priorities. The priorities are just
now with YouTube. It's before you even upload the video. It'll actually won't let you publish until it goes through the whole check after the whole video is processed.
I swear that it's only recent though, isn't it? They've done.
Yeah, that's like the last couple weeks.
Yeah, because even when I started, the check wasn't there. Then 2 weeks later, the checks arrived. The check arrived. So.
Well, the thing is as well. I was talking with one of my best mates, and you know, like when Kanye West bought a company to rival Spotify or whatever it was. I can't remember what it was called. It hasn't done well, whatever. But surely, and I'm not just saying these sports stars. I'm talking about movie stars or businessmen across the world. They should see right now. Do you know what? I've got the money to open up my own social media platform where I could say, you have to do these things to get verified before you can come on. And if they could start it up and say, right, we're going to be the first official social media platform where you have to be verified to come on. And once it takes off, the amount of people that would leave Twitter and join this, I think would be absolutely astronomical. I think
going the other way in America. Right.
In what way, Will?
There's a lot of people that think that Twitter and Facebook, Instagram are too tight. And they've opened up Twitter things that are completely free and open. There's no censorship at all.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Like there's a big thing with after the Donald Trump election.
Yeah.
So I'm a libertarian myself politically, but which means I'm just kind of in the middle. I'm the king of sitting on the fence.
Unbelievably tricky situation because I mean I'll go over it again, and I listen to Morgan Freeman. I'm not just saying he's not the only black famous person in the world, but I listen to something on YouTube and it's true, and it's stuck with me, and it's absolutely true, and it's the only way to stop racism is to stop talking about it. And unfortunately, if you really think about it, it's the truest indictment. I mean, the rows that we have will create a disparity, and racism will always be a thing. So It should, to me, be like eye color. I said it before, eye color.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
there's a difference in eye color. There's a difference in eye color. What difference does it make? Difference in skin. What difference does it make? Unfortunately, you know, the only way to stop racism is stop talking about it. But there are things that can be done. There are things that can. Racism will never completely go.
Kicked off.
But this social media thing has to be put in place.
Yep.
The stadium they have to be put in place, and it's common knowledge, and it will happen. It will happen, I'm sure. But
yeah, I just think any form of
3 to 5
harassment
day
should be
things
thrown
compared
off.
to the bloody Jedi stuff, and it's just priorities are not right.
I'm very interested to see if like Louis Saha has stopped taking the knee for Crystal Palace, and like Rangers and Celtic did after the guy was abused in Europa League. I'm very interested to see if we take the knee against United, or if Davinson takes the knee against United, because I think it's got to the point now where that's even losing its credibility.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
I mean, I think for as far as racism concerned, that needs to be open racism towards another person in a derogatory manner needs to be not acceptable on social media, period, because nobody needs to deal with that for themselves. But the problem in America is like, think of it as, Brian, you having an opinion on Brexit and they ban you from Twitter and YouTube.
Yep.
That's what's going on here. So people are going the other way, right? If you were pro Donald Trump, your account was getting blocked, or if you were anti-COVID.
That's the problem. That's when you make it trivial. When you make it trivial, that's the problem. When you make it trivial, there's deep racism there. When you make it trivial like that, it's just, you know, you can't be deleting stuff for that. You can't, for the big things that we're talking about with Sanchez, and you stop it. You get the proof of you know, passport proof and stuff like that. But you can't be doing it for pro-Trump. You turn it into trivial matters, and then you lose the real target. You lose the real target, and that's to stop the real abhorrent people. And there are a lot of abhorrent people.
It deludes the meaning of it. And I'm not
weakens
pro-Trump,
it,
by the way, for anybody who's watching.
It weakens it, absolutely. It weakens it. But it's an important subject. It's an important subject on all levels. And
but that's a problem here in America, where those companies are based. It gets tied together, right? It all gets, you know, jumbled up. And
look, asking social media conglomerates to tell their users that they need to either pony up identification or stop being racist is like asking those mega corporations to just flush money down the drain. Because if Twitter was to make it mandatory for us to present a birth certificate or a driver's license or any form of ID, all that would happen is all of the money that Twitter would make off us would be seeded to a rival platform, whether it exists now or whether it exists after Twitter makes those things that come from it. So, I mean, geez, is it really that hard to be nice to people online? I don't know.
I don't think it is.
I think it's just. I don't think that there is.
I think the clubs should do the best they can. If they find somebody, you know, who's using their normal profile to say those things, ban it for life. Ban it for life.
It's depressing just sitting there, because there's no real way out unless people just. And people talk about education. You need to educate people. It's not like algebra. You should know not to be racist. You know what I mean? It's common. If you need to be taught, if there needs to be an education, it's not algebra. You can see his skin color, his eye color. You shouldn't make any difference.
Yeah, for me in my life, I don't see a difference. But now the problem is in America, I get claimed as being racist for not seeing color.
Do you know what? This is a story. This is a story I was thinking about the other day. So I grew up in London, so multi-ethnicity. When I went to Kent, it's like 96% white. I'm half white. My mum's white. I'm half Kurdish. Right, so I'm half Kurdish, half white, and so I'm not half black, but all my friends were black in North London. I mean, everyone was black, and all multi-ethnicity, like Asian, Kurdish. And once, I did not see any difference in color until I was 6 years old. 5, 6 years old. I can't remember. It was like year one. Every Monday. So after your weekend, you draw a picture of what happened to you over the weekend. And I drew myself black. And I had no inclination that eye color, skin color. There was no difference whatsoever. And then the teacher told me off. It's like, what, you're not black. You're not black. And that's when I found that there was a difference. That there was a difference. Then I moved to Kent. Then I moved to Kent and had black friends in Kent. Then I saw real racism because, when they're the deep minority, then you see it.
I think it's more tribalism than racism, to be honest with you, because the people that get involved on both sides of this situation are just ridiculous. For instance, my wife's Asian, but since I'm white, people call me racist because I have an Asian wife. Leftists do. And then, the people on the right call me a race traitor because I have an Asian wife. So what am I supposed to do? It's like I sit right in the middle. I'm either a racist or a race traitor. I don't know what to be. It's pretty tough.
It's just a vicious circle. You can't do anything right. There's going to be critics no matter what you do.
Crazy this time of life. It's nuts, and especially in America. It's probably I guarantee it's far more. It's all on CNN. It's all this stuff here in America. It's a big deal right now. So
yeah, I mean, before I moved back to Canada in 2017, I used to work in Canary Wharf, or just outside Canary Wharf, South Quay, which was very 2 stops away on the DLR. And I used to see racism every single day on the way into work or on the way back, every single day, whether it be against Jewish people like myself, black people, Russian people, anything not English, or white. And I used to see it every single day without fail. Now, I've lived in Canada for just over 3 years, and I've heard about racism going on, like in the news occasionally, here, there, and everywhere. But in front of my own eyes, I've ever only seen racism once. And it was to me when a Nazi actually came up to me and for some reason didn't clock on that I was Jewish, actually thought I was Brazilian for some reason, and started calling me all the Brazilian names under the sun. And that's the only time I've ever seen racism with my own eyes here in Canada. But I used to see it every day in London, every day.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since I was in high school. So when I was in high school, I lived in a very small town in central Missouri. So that's kind of the dead center of the United States. And there's this group of farm boys who their code word to get in a fight was the N-word. And it was absolutely retarded, like the ridiculous thing to do. Now I'm going to get in trouble for saying the other R word. Ridiculous. But yeah, that was the only time I've ever directly seen or experienced that type of outward racism in my life.
And it can be just as bad for white people. This is going to sound mad, but it's really awkward when you're in that situation when you see somebody racially abused for the white person. It's very, very awkward. Because they see it with their own eyes. You see it with your own eyes, and you're like, what do I do in this situation? Do I stick up for it? It's very, very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult to know what to do, to how to react, and you have to let white people have their say as well.
I say something.
If you've got to let white people have their say as well. You can't say, oh, because you're this, because you're white, you don't have a say. You have to have a say. I mean, the majority of people in the States and the UK are white. Of course they are. If you want equality, you've got to involve them too. Here. You've got to involve them too. So, yeah.
And this was for me. I'm in a weird position because politically I'm a libertarian and I'm in a biracial relationship and I have biracial children. And so the left in America wants me to marry white women because otherwise I'm fetishizing Asians. And then the right wants me to marry white women because otherwise I'd be betraying my race. So they both want the same thing, just for different reasons. I think it's actually ridiculous because I just want to marry who I want to marry. I could care less what color of their skin they are.
So does it change? So has it completely changed? You said you love Canada, Brian. Is that why? Is that one of the main reasons?
Do you know what? It is one of the main reasons. Do you know the worst thing is, and will be able to vouch for it, and I don't know why, but obviously I know why. As soon as they heard my wife's accent, they thought she was American. And for some reason, there is a hatred with a lot of people back home with Americans and what America stands for and whatever. And it gets to the point now where I've heard it from so many Canadians. There's actually a thing when Canadians come to England, they make sure they put a massive Canadian flag like badge on their backpack to identify that they're not American. And as soon as they say they're Canadian, they're like, and it got to the point with my wife, I was on the underground with her and people were physically saying, go back to your own fucking country, you fucking yank. And I was like, what the? And it just got that bad. Like I said,
I get that all the time on YouTube.
Yeah,
Tottenham channels.
What about you being American?
Yeah,
yeah. We are on Tottenham TV, right?
We are Tottenham TV, the Irish Hotspur. You know,
see,
you're a Yank. You shouldn't be talking about football.
That's what it gets to the point. And you know what? Like I said, she was North London, born and bred, Jewish, obviously. Very Jewish area in North London, as we all know. In the area I live in, all my parents are in North London. Cockfosters is a very, very you're Jewish or Greek. It's a very, very Jewish or Greek area, and it's just I grew up with not knowing racism. I used to most of my good mates from school were Greek, black, whatever. So I never really saw it until growing up and started going to not even going to the games, because at Tottenham obviously everyone supported everyone, but when I looked at it with my wife's eyes, and now I step out of England and see what I have here, it is completely night and day. Like, honestly, Tom, if you came to Canada and just spent like a month here and just went around Canada, you'd be like, Jesus Christ. It's night and day, my life. Like I said, the only time I will ever live in England again is, please God, this ain't for ages, until like I know one of my family are not well and I need to be there till whatever happens. That's the only time I'll ever live in England again, ever.
Makes sense.
Ever. Like, even Canada.
When I lived in Korea, it's the same thing.
Let me tell you guys this. My personal experience about that. It's I'm gonna give it in 3 different dimensions. I mean, I grew up in a part of Africa that when white folks come around, we worship them like kings and queens. Even lay red carpet for them to come, because that's how joyful we are pleased for them to come. But when I got to the state, I was 18, but along the way I moved to a couple of states. When I moved here to Northeast, my first experience was I was driving to work. I was running late. I was pulled over by a cop, and the first thing he said to me was, "You're gonna regret for being in this country." And he gave me 13 tickets just to show that, I'm going to deal with you because, I was
in black. North Virginia?
No, it was Rockville, Maryland.
Okay, that makes sense.
In Rockville, Gettysburg area, that area. I have to tell people, don't ever go to that area if you're black.
Maryland cops in general, horrible.
Yeah, so
horrible.
That's one. The second one was, I left from my house, went to work. There was this white girl at my job, decided to open the door. She saw me, she closed the door and dialed 911 that I was trying to rob the building. And the poor cop came, pointing the gun at me. I almost ran. My mind just said, don't run. I just kneeled down and kept my hands up and said, hey. He said, "Hey, he said, the gun was pointed at me, like the back of my head. I thought I was Judge Floyd for that moment. I peed in my pants just in that situation. That's how scared I was. I kept my hands up, but the cop kept putting the gun on me. I kept saying, I'm a worker. Can't you see the scrub on me? I work here. Please, don't shoot, please.
See, that's nothing. That's another thing. We just see guns in movies in England. Yeah. We just see guns in movies. There's
yeah, I mean, this is real life. I mean, finally they went to call her and interview her. She said, "Oh, okay, he works here. But what if the cop would have shot me? She's white." And they just listen to what she got to say, and they just go with it. Because I was black, they just assumed I was coming to rob the building, and they came.
Awesome. Where
straight
are you
at
in
this
the where are you in the States?
I live in Maryland, but that incident happened to me in Virginia. Actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that happens in Virginia, close to the Charlottesville area. You know. Yeah.
Well, Southern Virginia is very redneck country, right? That's not it's not big, well-developed area. You get south of Charlottesville, and it's mountains and farms and stuff, and it's usually those areas that you have the biggest issues in.
Yeah. So, if you want to stay out of it, West Virginia, I'm not talking about Northern Virginia is good. Northern Virginia, South Maryland, they are all good. But if you start moving like East Virginia towards Virginia Beach, you need to be careful on that side. If you start moving towards the north of Maryland, you need to be careful on that side too. Yeah. That's my experience.
And I can totally empathize with you. I didn't have the gun experience because Korean police don't have guns. It's kind of like England. But when I was living in Korea, I lived there for 13 years. And while it's more of a positive nature, every time I would get on an elevator or somebody would be like, "Look at his nose. Oh my God, it's so big." Or because I'm tall, they would stand up next to me and take pictures without asking to, show how the height difference. And when I'll be walking down the street, people will come up to me all the time. Police would blame me for things. Women would clutch their purse when I got on elevators.
See, I'd never have thought that. I'd never thought that.
Oh yeah.
So, Will, in Korea, what are they like with people with tattoos? And the reason I ask you that is I've got a friend, a black girl that's moved from here to Japan, and she's a teacher at a school, and she's heavily tattooed. And every day before she gets up, she has to make sure she covers all these tattoos with like cover-up cream and everything, because it is so frowned upon in Japan, like tattoos on not just women, like anyone. Is it like that in Korea as well?
Yeah, for the most part. So if you have tattoos, you're a gangster. You're a mafia member.
Okay, so it's that.
Yeah.
Just like triad
because
stuff.
tattoos are illegal technically in Korea.
Wow.
The tattoo culture is growing now in Korea, but before it was illegal. So the only way you could get a tattoo was like a prison tattoo or mafia tattoo.
Okay.
So yeah, and it's usually
what's going on with Awesome? Oh,
I think he's mute.
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah, because I've now got 9 tattoos, and my parents hated me when I got my first tattoo. My parents went mental. Yeah, but this is the thing. The 2 reasons that my parents didn't want me to get the reason my parents didn't want me to get them is, first of all, it's
scripturally.
Well, basically, you can't. If in a Jewish religion, you've got to be buried the way you came into the world. You've got to go out the way you came in. So obviously, it will need to be cut. But also, the other thing was basically due to the Holocaust and Hitler putting the numbers on and branding people. So it's like I even had the argument with my parents. I was like, listen, if I was to go out of this world the way I came in, why was I circumcised after 8 days? I'm not going out the same way I came in, am I?
Good point.
So my mum's mouth dropped, and literally, and when I said to her, when I said I got these tattoos, basically a lot of them are what's they called, memorials for my grandparents and stuff. It was like, do you know what? It was either have this or go on a 6-week bender when I was back on drinking. And they're like, listen, get as many tattoos as you want. They hate them, but it's like, if that's what it means to keep you like this, it's like the tattoo, as Danny will be able to say as well. I keep saying Danny when I mean Tommy. Sorry, Danny. Tommy, it's late.
I was kept wondering who you're talking
to. I've been called worse.
I'm sorry, but I don't know why I keep doing it as well. I'm tired.
And you're on about 600 people's. You're on about 600 people's channels, so.
Yeah, man, I'm becoming a slag, as you know. I'm just a slag. I'm just whoring myself out. But yeah, the tattoo culture has got a lot better in England, but it used to be really frowned upon.
Oh,
You're either a racist or you're a football hooligan. That's what it was. But like you said, these things, when we're talking racism, slowly but surely, hopefully, you'd like to think every generation is getting less and less and less. But this current generation isn't having that effect.
And yeah, and for my Korean friends, because they always get such hurt feelings when I bring up my experiences from there. And I was there for 13 years, from 2003 to 2015, late 2015, early 2000. So, yeah, it was all over the place. And at first, the attention was great, right? You're a tall white guy, and everybody, I could see down the entire subway platform, from one end to the other, just because of my height. And the attention, it was great at first. You kind of feel like a rock star, like you're a celebrity, right? But after about 7 or 8 years, every time you get into a taxi cab, the taxi driver asks you, where are you from? Can you teach me English? All of these things. You just want to go to work and go home, right? Like you don't want to be bugged. You don't want to be bothered. And so it's not like it was a negative one, although sometimes it was. Sometimes I would get onto a subway train and there'd be like if you get real old, 60s, 70s, 80s, they love me. They come up, I'd help them carry their luggage onto the trains, and they'd be like, oh, you're so nice. I love Americans. They helped me when I was a little kid. But it was right around 40 to 60. I've been cussed out, drunk people on the train. You Yankee, go home. Da 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 da. And then, different things. So I can empathize. I know it's completely different, the situation. Obviously, I don't come from an oppressed people from my own nation. But where I was at, I can empathize with people like Awesome All who experienced things not based on your character, but on the outward appearance of yourself. So.
Okay. Gotta go. Peace.
Cody, you out?
I'm
You're
out.
very quiet tonight, Cody.
I wasn't laughing at anything, Rants. I was laughing at. I wasn't laughing at that. I was laughing at Brian's messages.
I just sent Tommy. I just sent Tommy a GIF with Destiny's Child saying, "Say my name, say my name," and I said, "It's Tommy, it's Tommy, it's Tommy."
Very quiet tonight, Cody.
That's all right. Sometimes it's good to listen.
That's good. Well, thank you for coming on. You're welcome anytime.
Yo! Before you go, I need some Americans on my quiz. I want an American side. I want FTB Sports side, because it's just going to be like a 20-25 minute quiz, 10 questions, and then you go through to the final, something like that, and you get to pick a Spurs shirt. I'll send that to the States or whatever. But I'm doing it with a few other people as well. Like, there'll be about 12 Spurs fans, so I'd appreciate it. I'd appreciate anyone that would come on to do that with me.
Guess what?
Sure. Take care.
Just heads up on Twitter.
Have a good night, Cody, brother. Have a good night, brother.
Yes, sir.
Stay strong. Stay Spurs.
Stay strong. Stay Spurs,
Yes,
Cody.
Of course. Yeah, I've got to get cracking soon as well. I really do have to go for a run in the morning. I'm still losing this Christmas fat, man. I'm still losing this Christmas fat now. Like, geez.
Wow.
Falling asleep.
Yeah, it's a hard part about this show. Because there's no real structure, it tends to find its own path, and sometimes it can get deep.
Yeah, it's got really deep tonight.
Usually this deep, but it's inevitable.
No,
it's inevitable. It's going to be like this. It's never. It was going to be like this with the current trend of things. And this week's been really bad, hasn't it?
Yeah, it was really the Sanchez incident that spun us off into that. But it's good to talk about. I think it's educational for people.
That was my fault.
No, it's okay.
I mean, I've learned a lot. Do you know what? I've learned a lot. I didn't know about the.
And for the Korean folks, I'm not angry at Koreans because of what happened. It just happened, and
it's almost part of the culture. And that's the thing. You got to try and rid the culture, and the more
it's worldwide, man. It's so deeper, so much deeper than people think. I think.
But I've got a lot of friends, and there are a lot of a hell of a lot of white and black couples now, and that's good to see. Mixed race kids all over the place.
Get rid of all the white people. We
all over
okay.
the place.
To tell you the truth, when I lived in Israel, there's so many people in Israel that are not just mixed race but mixed religions, and the like you said, like with your kids will being Asian and American, the combinations you see in Israel are like ridiculous. They really are, and it's just beautiful children, beautiful families.
Yeah.
It's the way it is. It's the way it is. It's the way of life. Listen, I used to say to my mum, when my mum used to say, you have to marry a Jewish girl, you have to marry a Jewish girl. I used to say, listen, I'm not going to go to a club, find a girl I like, and say, listen, before I buy you a drink, are you Jewish? It's like, that's half the racism kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I just don't understand why we can't see each other all as just people.
Exactly.
Why do we have to pick a side? I don't want to pick a side.
It's so clear that we are just people. It's so clear that we are just people.
That's the hard part about being an American right now in the current culture is both sides are making you pick a side. I don't want to pick a side. I just want to be Will.
Yeah.
I don't want to be white Will. I don't want to be libertarian Will. I don't want to be Tottenham Will. Well, I like to be Tottenham Will, but I just want to be Will. And why can't I be okay with
everyone's grouped now?
Okay
not just race, but everyone's grouped. Everyone's grouped. When a child is a little bit manic, and when he's at school, he's got ADHD. They just want to. I mean, it's what happens. Kids, run about and cause trouble. It doesn't mean they have ADHD. And
school teacher called me in on my youngest.
Just let kids be kids. And I thought bullying happens. Bullying happens. This is part of life.
It's a funny story.
Funny
story. I have 3 boys. My youngest is 9. When he was in about 5 years old, 6 years old, first grade maybe. Teacher calls me in and says, your son is completing all of his work early. And since he's done with all of his work, he kind of sits at his desk and makes like fake little, gun things at people. I'm like, well, he is a 6-year-old boy. And is he being disruptive? Is he bullying people? No. But I think he has ADHD because he's not paying attention.
Oh, Jesus.
He's 6. We moved to North Carolina. We were in Virginia at the time, Southern Virginia. Moved to North Carolina, and he goes to school. They start giving advanced tests, and now he's in like genius classes because the teacher thought he had ADHD because, well, all the other kids weren't done with their work, but he wasn't paying attention because he was finishing it in like 35 seconds, and everybody else was, taking 35 minutes.
It's funny you mentioned the toy guns, Will. Tommy, do you remember? Did you used to watch, or do you love Peter Kay?
Oh yeah, man. Who doesn't love Peter Kay? Who doesn't love Peter Kay?
So there's, I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but there's a British comedian, Peter Kay, and I'll try and find it and I'll send it to your Twitter, Will, so you can share it. But there's a bit where he talks about when they're at school and they're playing with their toy guns. Or at school, they said you either play army or you're a girl and you do whatever you do. And he starts talking about playing with guns at school. And it's one of the funniest things you'll ever hear. And you just saying that has reminded me. So I'm going to dig that out and send it to you.
I've watched so many stand-ups that I can't remember that specific story. But yeah, he's a legend. He's a legend.
PK is a legend. He is a legend.
Right, boys, I've got to get cracking. Because I've got to get some shot eye.
All right, Tommy. Well, thanks for jumping on, man.
No worries.
Great
no
to
worries,
have you. You're welcome
it's
anytime.
really
You want to stay
interesting.
up late?
I've learned a lot of stuff, and not just Tottenham. So
the definition of a trooper is Tommy.
Exciting.
Yeah, this has been a very deep show. It's usually a lot more lighthearted than this.
But look, it's perfect because that's what the week's been. The week is, it portrays the week, and it's been a difficult week with Ivan Toney Sanchez and what. It's just football, is it? So yeah, it portrays the week, and that's what the YouTube channel has to be about, doesn't it?
Yeah, but Awesome All has a question before you go.
Okay, I'm just curious if Levy do Levy stuff, which we know, don't buy any players, don't do anything, and kept Mourinho, where do you expect us to finish next season?
So if
he
Levy
doesn't back
continues to
us.
be Levy, and Mourinho
if he doesn't buy any
stays,
players,
where should we finish next season?
It's a good question because If he doesn't back Mourinho will still stay, won't he? Because he's not coming out of his contract. So it is actually a good question. It's not one I've really thought about, but because you think that the Deadwood you would receive some money from the Deadwood, you're going to get rid of some of it, and then he's got to give you some budget in as well. But the problem is there's no pressure put on Levy because the fans at the stadiums put a massive amount of pressure on David Sullivan at West Ham. That's why he started spending. And look at West Ham now. We don't have that. We need the fan base back. But who knows? Eighth? Europa League would probably be good. It'd be, if you get in the top 6 with no spending after this summer, you've probably done well.
Exactly.
The stadium opens on the 19th, right?
Sorry?
Really hard to predict.
The stadium opens on the 19th, right?
Does it? Is that when it reopens again?
I think everything opens next week, they said.
Okay, it's going to change. When it's Pat, it's going to change everything. It's going to change everything.
We can't really hear you, Susan. You're breaking up a little bit. There's no weird background noise. It's just
players won't get away with piss poor performances. Not in a Tottenham shirt anyway, because we're supposed to be up there, and some of the performances have just been ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And the fans will get on their back, and rightly so. Not in a horrible, but rightly so, because it's not been good enough. And sometimes, especially against Zagreb, you're not playing for the shirt. You're not playing for the shirt, and they won't allow that. And if you continue not spending money and you continue failing, like it happened with West Ham, hopefully it will come full circle, and we will eventually spend money.
I think we'll finish right about where we are now.
If we don't get rid of the Deadwood, though, the rot is just going to seep further and further into the club. And like I've said before, at the moment, and the thing is, like I said, not solely going for the board and Levy like I'd love to. Right now, the whole club is fractured. It doesn't. The left arm don't know what the right arm is doing.
It's seeped down into every
orifice. The only thing it hasn't touched,
every crevice now is just
the only thing that hasn't been diluted, Tommy, is the youth coming through. That's the only thing that the youth is the one thing that at the moment is bearing fruits. Everything else, I don't think the scouts are talking to the manager. I don't think the manager's talking to the whole thing is disjointed, and there's a blatant leak in the club. Because
the next generation does look bright for once, and the next generation looks bright in attack for once, because we produce a lot of centre midfielders, even fullbacks. Walker Peters and Lavernia coming through. I think so, fullback, but we don't produce many attacking players. But we've got Scarlett, we've got Etiti, we've got Alfie Devine, 16 years old. So I just pray. We use these boys. I pray we use these boys.
He's the one. Like I said, I think Dane Scarlett is going to be better than Michael Owen, and I've been on record as saying that many a time. I think his career path is exactly the same, and he's going to be bigger. But the one that I'm really banging on the drum about is Alfie Devine.
Yeah.
He is going to be something.
I didn't realise. Looking over, I've done a youth stream, a youth content stream last week, and we signed him for 300 grand from Wigan when he was 15. 300 grand from Wigan. So
when Wigan were going broke.
They were in administration. He's probably worth, triple, £3 million, something like that. Probably got it for 10% of his value. So he's got potential, hasn't he? And you can see it when he plays.
Big time. But back to the question about where I honestly think if we don't spend, obviously, if that Deadwood seeps in even more, I'm going with Tommy. I'm saying anywhere between 8th and 10th next season if we don't spend or get the money in, and like I said, we need to buy diamonds with whatever money we get. Don't buy quality. Don't buy quantity over quality. We need to buy quality over quantity this time, and if we don't, we're in trouble.
I'd rather get one 60-70 million defender than even two or three.
Even if it's not Skriniar, I think we should be spending that sort of money.
Exactly.
Even if it's just one.
Yep.
I'd rather get one good player.
But this brings me back to where I keep saying that I think this is the season we need to find the Lloris replacement. Not because even if he stays for another year, we need to have a Lloris replacement ready. Because if he goes next year, like I said at the beginning, why is it we've only got no replacements for the spine? If we don't get a replacement in this summer and say, right, listen, Hugo's staying, you're going to play games that he can't play in the league where he's injured or suspended, but you're playing every single cup game no matter what. Europe no matter what. I don't care if we get to the finals. I'm not switching. But you're staying, because if we don't get a keeper this year and Hugo walks the year after, which he will do because he's not going to renew, trying to find a keeper when everyone knows you have not got a number one keeper in there, that's going to whack the price
inflate. The prices inflate,
big time. Big time. And when they know you, like, let's just say it's Nick Pope. Nick Pope, let's just say right now we could have for 25 mil. And I'm just picking a number. I know it's going to be more than that. If we don't sign him this summer and we went for the next summer and Hugo walks, that 25 becomes 45, 50 mil without a shadow of doubt, because they're like, right, you want this guy? You're going to have to pay because we know you haven't got a keeper. And that's the problem.
Options, and he's my favourite. He's the big option. I want Pope. I want Pope in. I mean, Donnarumma's contract's running out, but yeah, they want.
Well, apparently he's in negotiation. They did a whole thing about. They did a whole thing. Ibrahimovic is about to sign another contract for another year, and they said Donnarumma has actually opened negotiations again to discuss with them. They haven't gone through yet, but he's in. So there's a very good chance that he's going to be off the table anyway.
The thing with Donnarumma is he's like Gerrard at Liverpool. He will get death threats. If he leaves Milan, he will get he's had death threats already because he didn't sign an initial contract and he was thinking about leaving. So, they don't mess about. They don't mess about in Italy. It's horrible to think, but if he leaves Milan, there's going to be his private life. There's going to be serious repercussions.
I'd really like to give Varane. He's not in talks with Real Madrid. Real Madrid's hurting real bad for cash.
Yeah. I suppose.
He's like $60 million evaluation right now. 27, 28.
It could be one.
You're gonna get one.
I completely agree. I completely agree that we could definitely get just try and fix the defense. Fix the defense. But what should we, boys? What do you think at right back? Because we've got 3 right backs. Do you know what I mean? What's going to happen with Tanganga? Do you think he's going to settle at right back? He's a centre back, but
Aurier is going to leave on a free. I think he's going to run his
Aurier's going to leave on a free, so that still leaves Doherty and Tanganga. So we're not going to improve right back. Is that just on the back? Is that on the back foot now? Is centre back?
We need to improve everybody, but I think centre back is a priority number 1 for me.
Yeah, but the reality is we're not going to get rid of too many players. And if you can't get rid of too many players, then you can't bring players in. You don't have a big enough squad.
And if we're not in Europe, we're not going to have the money.
Exactly. There's so many. There's so many. It's like a waterfall, isn't it? It's just like.
I think it's going to be pretty hard for us not to finish in at least the Europa League place.
Oh, if there's a team that can say it.
I'm not even saying it. Honestly, if we beat Man United, I honestly think with our running, we can certainly finish in the top 1. I tell you what, Leicester have fallen off a cliff, so there could be 2 places up for grabs. Their running is horrific. So we're talking about 1 place up for grabs. They could be 2. They could very well be 2.
West Ham has a tough one too.
And if we can get in that Champions League place, we'll attract better talent than we'll be playing in the Champions League.
One thing that bothers me about this whole thing is we had 5 different chances to be top 4 from the get-go, and they lost every chance. I mean, this one hurts the most. The Newcastle one hurts the most. That was
I completely forgot that we drew. It felt so much like a loss.
Yeah,
I was so mad.
I know. Because when I you know what, I actually sat down and watched the West Ham game, and I was praying for Wolves to win. Can you be
we all were
to win so that we can be on top 4? I was
I'm gonna say this now, but I was secretly rooting for that lot down the street to win last week too. Inside, up here I knew that's not okay, but in here I was like, come on.
But you know what? I don't do that because I even know now this squad is good enough to get into the top 4. There's problems, but with Kane and Son back, we can focus on ourselves and we can make it. But then you keep José for another season if you get top 4. It's just what can you do? I'm going to talk about this tomorrow on my channel. Would you not get into the top 4? You remove top 4, and then obviously you get rid of José, or you make the top 4 and you keep José. What's the dilemma there? What would you do?
Always top 4. Always these people that come on and
you get top 4, then you definitely keep José.
Yeah, these without doubt, these people that come on and say I want us to lose just so we can get Jose out are a nonsense. To me.
It's awful, isn't it?
It's a nonsense.
Yeah, I did hear that on the radio, the England radio talk show. They were talking about it that some fans have actually put it on social media that they want Jose out, so they are willing to lose the Carabao Cup, lose the top four, and even they don't mind getting relegated to just make sure Jose is out. They said they want Jose out. They're willing to sacrifice to lose everything.
That's why I want to bring it up, because as you said, people, there are people that are talking about that. That's that's why I wanted to bring it up. There are people that talk like that, and it's horrible. I mean, how can you have that thought process for your club? How can you have that thought process for your club? But
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's I'm really anti Jose as well. I'm really anti Jose. So yeah, it's a difficult, but it's not. There's no decision to make there. You've got to get top four. You've got to get top four.
But true that. Let's say let's be real and let's be fact. If Jose would have, let's assume we are Chelsea, okay, and we have the money in the bag. If Jose would have got Skriniar, in the list Jose gave to them, it says Skriniar first. My second choice is Ruben Diaz, and look at what Ruben Diaz is doing in Manchester City now. And I'm like, really? Is that good? What are you thinking? You should have got him.
He thinks he's Del Boy. Daniel Levy thinks he's Del Boy because he's got a couple of good deals in the past. He's believed his own hype. He's believed his own newspaper hype. He got Wanyama cheap. He got Lloris cheap. He got Lloris for about £10 million, and he already had 60 caps for France. So he done some good dealings. Don't get me wrong, but he thinks he's Del Boy, so he doesn't pay the extra 10 million for Grealish. He doesn't pay the extra 10 million for Skriniar. And look what they've become. Grealish is £100 million player. I enjoy watching Grealish. I love him. Any other player in the Premier League. Honestly,
I love him too.
I absolutely love him. And Skriniar, he's an absolute.
I was so excited. So excited when Grealish was on the rumors that year.
I have to say, you've just reminded me with Lloris. Do you remember do you know the story about Lloris as well when we signed him? So Lloris was actually the fee agreed with Lyon was 14 million.
Okay.
All agreed, got on the coach or got on the plane, flew over. The second he got into the training ground, and you got to remember at the training ground, he got there quite late. We signed him quite late on deadline day. He said, nope, it's now 10 million that we're going to give you. And Lyon were like, no, it's 14. It's like, right, you either sell him for 10 now and we give you 10 million, or we'll wait till January and we'll get him on a pre-contract for free. And he was like, all right. And then they were like, you fuck. Like,
and they were in major debt. That's when they were just on the turn, Lyon, when they went downhill. They were getting Champions League semi-finals, so they had to.
And as you said, the two transfers he lives off for his Del Boy, and like I say, Levy Poker, is Dele and Rafa van der Vaart. Those are the two transfers
and of course
that he dines off. He dines off them, especially the Rafa van der Vaart one, because he pulled that one out of thin air. Where he did get a diamond for a lump of coal price. But yeah, it's...
But the Fernandez one makes me the most mad out of all. That one signing would have put us in top four this season.
It's the Dybala one for me, and there's been a few as well, because what he does...
Dybala's been shaky, though, last couple seasons.
What he does, and he's done this before. Now, I remember a game where... we lost 4-0 in the FA Cup to Fulham. This was a long time ago. And that evening, it was deadline day, and he went out and put bids in way below the offer, way below for Aguero, Giuseppe Rossi, Andy Carroll, and all of them. And what he does is he makes these bids way lower than they should be because he knows, A, it'll get reported, and B, he knows it's not going to get accepted. So it's like, yeah, I'm trying, because you can hear it in the media. We've put a bid in. Yeah, there's absolutely no chance of us getting them. Absolutely no chance. But it makes it look like with the Coutinho. Coutinho was a done deal. He wanted to come back and play for Poch. Poch got him playing at Espanyol. That's where his career took off. I want to come and play for Poch. I love England. I played in the Premier League. This is what I want. I'm coming. then no, okay, it's all on a go. Then when it came to wages, nope, I'm off to Bayern Munich because Bayern Munich are offering me what I want. And it happens time and time again. We get linked with the Hollywood names, but we put in offers for like a third of what they should be.
That just means he's not being serious.
Exactly, but the Spurs, there's people that think, oh my God, look, we're going for this player, we're linked with this player, we've put a bid
I don't
in.
think Bruno Fernandes was a Hollywood name.
He wouldn't know. He would have been the Hollywood name we needed.
Yeah,
it's always
Hollywood
risky.
name now.
It's always risky signing from Portugal. It is always risky signing from Portugal. It can be hit or miss like the Dutch league. It can be hit or miss.
what was
can
it?
be.
5 million, 10 million pounds we saved signing.
But the majority coming out of the Portuguese league these days
Jetson?
is terrific. I mean, Wolves in the Championship were buying. Wolves are pretty much, Ruben Neves somehow, and they've all turned out to be absolutely magnificent.
Jota.
So recently, it was a sound. It was a sound investment, if you like. Levy looks at everything like an investment. It was a sound investment to buy Bruno Fernandes and Ruben Dias, but we decided not to, and we paid the price. But the thing with Bruno Fernandes is we already had Ndombele, we already had Lo Celso in the number 10, so trying to fit him in would have been difficult. But we are trying to put Ndombele into the centre mid row. Whether it works or not, who knows? But he's a serious baller, Bruno Fernandes. He tries.
And we had Dele, and we didn't realize Dele was going to go.
Yeah, exactly.
We've come a long way since the Helder Postiga days. That's for damn sure.
Oh, but do you think? Do you guys think Sabitzer would do good?
Sabitzer, yeah,
he'd do great. But the thing we've got the problem there again is the foreign players. We need to get them out.
Yeah.
Before we go, so all this talk, are we 75% coming to Spurs? It's all bullshit because unless there's 2 or 3 foreigners leaving the club, he ain't coming, whether we can agree on fee or not.
The thing is, he's not a right winger. He's definitely not a right winger. He's not a left winger, even though he plays on the left side. And even if he was a left winger, we got Son. He's a centre midfielder. He plays on the left side of centre midfield.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe put him on 10. Let him play 10.
But we've got 2
Like
10s. We've got 3 10s. Lo Celso. And Ndombele's best position is 10, Dele Alli. But I don't think Sabitzer is the one we really need. I think we need a right winger. We need centre backs. We need a right winger.
I got a quick question. I'm about to check out, but before I check out, do you think we would have won Premier League or be on top right now if Sabitzer was playing? No, Skriniar was playing alongside with Toby.
We'd be in the top 3. That's for damn sure.
Do you think it's that bigger?
I think it's that bigger thing that if we'd had that recognised centre back.
Yeah, but most of the mistake we did was individual error. If we don't have those individual error, I thought we would be on top of the Premier League by now.
And the lack of leadership. But if
Skriniar was playing alongside with Toby, we should be winning the Premier League.
Yeah,
winning it. Well, you look at Man City on a 21.
Man City, the players didn't even agree with the manager in the beginning. They were losing in the beginning of the
but they haven't lost since. That's the problem.
And I see what you're saying there, Olsen,
games of the season.
Olsen and Brian, the fact that we could have really title chasing contenders, and Brian says top 3 because
we finished top 2 easy, I think.
Post the Champions League final, I mean, from the Champions League final, we're only 3 first team players down. Really, Ericsson, and we've got Ndombele, who's a very different number 10, but absolutely magnificent.
Yeah.
Trippier.
Why would they even take him off number 10?
Trippier, Ericsson, and Vertonghen. Now, Vertonghen's the big one. Vertonghen's the big fish. And we never replaced him. And that's why, I can see when you say Skriniar, I mean, something like that could have changed our fortunes completely. Because we've got the replacement. We've got the replacement in Ericsson. Maybe not so much with Trippier, but... Yeah, we could have been. Top 3. It would have made a lot of sense.
And for me, I saw Jan as more of a leader than Toby, to be honest. He
had
a little bit more.
100%. 100 million percent.
Yeah, even in all the
Toby was a little better on the ball.
Even in all the documentaries, he was there. Even in the documentaries, some of the documentaries, the ones I'm talking about, not the one on Amazon. I'm talking about the one that they did playing like a car race game. Did you watch those? That they were doing some car race game. That they were doing some football.
I've gone behind the scenes. I've only seen the Amazon.
Yeah, behind the scenes ones. He was always a leader, and in the way he talks and the way he can tell people go here, go there, move there, you can tell. But when I watched the Belgium game the other day, they were still playing side by side.
Yep.
They played.
Jan Vertonghen to me is my
Yeah.
second favourite. He's my second favourite ever Spurs player behind Gaza.
So
I would love to
my
have
question is,
seen. I would
why
love
did
to
they
have
let
seen
him go?
Vertonghen
Why
and
did they
Mendy
let him
King.
go? They
Oh,
could have just
God.
kept him in the background.
I think he's
Especially-
coming back. I think he's coming back once he retires from Portugal and retires from football. I'm convinced.
Oh, he
Jan
really
Vertonghen
loves the
will come
club.
back.
He really loves the
He-
club. Well, I'm
he will
not
be
big on.
back.
I'm not really big on social media platforms, but I know that he absolutely adores
Because
Tottenham
they
on
could have
on
always.
Twitter.
Always.
Do you know?
And
do you
I-
know the reason? Do you know the reason why I'm saying that they should have kept him? Remember, if you look at the game, the whole 90 minutes, we played good for the 80 minutes, and the last 10 minutes we lose. That's what we lose. Why don't you try and bring the guy back and put him, let him be there for that last 10
Because he wanted a
minutes?
3-year contract and Levy wouldn't give it to him.
Toby,
For 10
I was
minutes.
the biggest critic. I was the biggest critic of Toby when Vertonghen was there. I still don't like him to this day. He's the best, but he's the best out of a bad bunch of centre backs right now. That's what I personally feel. But I disliked him back in the day. I disliked the way he was. He was complacent. He didn't sign his contract. He didn't sign his new contract for 2 years because he thought he deserved to be at a bigger club. Then he had this weird thing in his contract. Brian probably knows about this. I don't know if you do too, Will, but about transfer fees. The year before his contract ran out,
Yeah, get out on a
25
40.
million fee. You had the 25 million fee. He was convinced that one of the
He's
big
going to
clubs were coming
United.
for him. A top level centre back like he thought he was now is 50 million pounds. We already discussed that. People would pay 60 million pounds for a world class centre back. He thought he was world class. They wouldn't come in for him at 25 million. Roma were apparently interested. They would come in for him at 25 mil. Then he signs a contract. Oh, I always wanted to sign a contract. Then he signs the contract. The people like him are a virus. We've got bigger fish to fry, but it's a pandemic. It's in every crevice, and even the half decent players, the ones we don't think about, there's big problems. And if Toby's our best centre back out of this bunch of centre back, that's when you know there's trouble.
Well, it comes to the point as well, like he was saying with the Skriniar deal, it's like I said right at the beginning of the show, why haven't we got a ready-made replacement, or not even a ready-made replacement, a valid competition for the place of the players in the spine? We have not got a single replacement for a player in the spine, and that's the most vital thing. And Skriniar would have walked into that team, would have been probably, all right, Hugo would still be captain, but he certainly, you would, if you look at it, then if you would have had Lloris as captain, Skriniar as a captain, Højbjerg as a potential captain, and Kane. That whole spine would have been captains without the armband.
Which formation? 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. There's different numbers in the spine. In a 4-4-2, there's 6 in the spine.
So I love the 4-2-3-1 only because it's what Poch played, and
That's 4.
the best football I've ever seen was under Poch. Now I grew up with Terry Venables, caught the late Keith Birkinshaw, saw Martin Jol, who is the catalyst for all this, by the way. Martin Jol is
he's so undervalued.
Oh mate, I loved him. I loved. But do you know what? I was so happy.
So good.
Well, when we got Santini in, I was like, okay, let's see what Santini does. And then obviously he left very, very early for some strange reason that no one knows.
Yeah.
But when they gave it to Martin Jol, who I didn't even really know, what a man that man is, and he
was just the assistant at the time, wasn't he?
I love the club, and I love the story Ben tells, or Simeon tells about. You heard the story about after the Man U game with the Pedro Mendes goal?
No.
So Simeon tells this story well. Apparently, Martin Jol went to go and speak to the referees afterwards.
Ben's brother,
Yeah, Ben's brother, yeah. Martin Jol walked into the referees' room to have a discussion with the referees and the assistants after, and he goes to the referees, "Can I say that you're a prick?" He goes, "Well, no, you can't." He goes, "Well, can I think that you're a prick?" And he goes, "Yeah, you can think you're a prick." And he goes, "Well, I think you're a fucking prick," and walked out. And it just goes to show what this man. And I remember even when we played Ajax in the semi-finals, they actually did a Spurs Legends kind of night, the night before, and Martin Jol was the special guest. Even though he's in Holland working for Ajax and is an Ajax man, he's spending time with he was the catalyst to everything that started.
And completely unexpected because we didn't appoint him as a manager.
Yeah,
it was crazy. And that's when we had Rijkaard as the chief scout as well, wasn't it?
Yep.
And he had a good.
Arneson.
Arneson, what am I talking about? Yeah, what am I talking about? Arneson, the Danish
Rijkaard.
Arneson. He had a good obviously had a very good back catalogue, Arneson.
He's got nowhere, but we don't care. Martin Jol.
and Santini was the France manager before he turned up. He was the France manager. He didn't come from some like mid-table French team, so he was. He had a huge reputation. And,
yeah, still to this day, don't know what happened.
It was weird, really weird.
All right. Well, we've got 15 minutes left. Good morning, Tommy.
Yeah, I might as well stay up now. I'll delay my run till early afternoon.
There you go, man. There you go.
It's like what's almost 6 a.m. your time, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's cool. I used to have insomnia. It's cool.
Shit, it's
Guys.
almost 6. It's also hit. Yeah, bloody hell.
Guys,
Yeah,
I'm getting ready to check out, guys.
All right, awesome. All thanks for coming on again. We always love having you on. Thanks for telling your
to speak to you,
story
brother.
and your point of view.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you, guys. See you. All right.
See you later, bye-bye.
Thanks for coming on, my man.
And
Yeah,
then
we've only
there
got
were
like
3.
10 minutes left in the show anyway. So
There we go. There we go.
You,
So,
do
yes,
this, you have this once a week. You have this
3 times a week.
3-hour show.
3-hour show, 3 times a week. Yep.
Is it really? Jesus Christ! Yeah,
It'll,
that's brilliant.
if you go look at the channel, most of them go like 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's
Especially the ones on the weekend when people come in and they're.
yeah. I'd imagine.
Tommy,
Bloody-
if you want to see what I'm really like with Levy, just go watch his edited clips, which is just me ranting at Levy.
It's literally
Oh,
22 minutes of him
of me
just ranting at Levy. I like literally. Normally, I'll try to give the whole conversation. It was just too long of a clip.
where Levy goes, or he'll finally get his checkbook out. There'll come a time.
They'll
Yeah,
come,
it's like-
believe me, there's more chance of me dying than Levy getting the checkbook out. That's how honestly it's just not happening.
So,
But like
what
I
do
said,
we think about the stadium name? What do we think about the stadium name? I was discussing it with someone else the other day.
History
Like
Channel,
Amazon,
right?
Amazon, next day delivery. Get rid of to dare is to do. Next day delivery. I wouldn't be surprised. I just wouldn't be surprised with Levy. Do you know
That's
what I
such
mean?
a dumb name, though. Amazon's
Do
stadium.
you know what?
Amazon
This is
Stadium.
the thing. I mean, I understand the naming rights and I understand it's money and everything, but like Newcastle have the Sports Direct Arena, everyone calls it St James's Park.
Yeah. Cool.
It's forever going to be known as White Hart Lane. When we go back into the stands, they're not going to start singing "We're the Park Lane, we're the Park Lane, we're the Park Lane, Amazon Stadium," or
No,
British
of course not.
Airways. They will
course
sing. It will always. It's a money spinning thing. And there was talk about BA. There's talk about Nike.
I
There's
thought it was
talk about
Tottenham
Amazon.
at the end of that song.
Yeah, but sorry. There's other things that we sing about White Hart Lane. You're very
Yeah.
true. You've caught me out there. You've caught me
So
out
have
there.
you been to Spurs games, Will?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Oh man, you
Unfortunately,
got to do it. I've only been to 2 in the new stadium, to be fair, and it is unreal. It is unreal, but it's bloody
I was
unreally
supposed to go-
expensive as well.
in April of last year, but
100%, you got to hit it when
COVID.
everything gets back to normal. But I went to the bloody Burnley game when we won 5-0, and
With the
Son
Sun goal.
Oh man! But I tell you what, yeah, that was the first game I went to in a new stadium, right? And I had my laptop, my iPad in my rucksack, and they were like, "This new stadium, you couldn't take it in there, and you have to go in a separate baggage area, pay £15." So I missed the first 10 minutes. We scored 2 goals in the first 10 minutes, but luckily I saw Son's goal, so it wasn't a very
there
good
you go.
experience in a new stadium. But
do you guys have
bloody hell, so
Teslas
expensive,
in
man.
the UK?
Say again.
What's that?
You have Teslas? The car?
Yeah, you got Teslas back home, haven't you? I'm sure you do.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. They're not popular at all. You have to be in
That'd be a good one.
upper
I think
echelon to say the
Tesla would
least.
be a much
Yeah.
better name than Amazon.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, man, I'll take that.
Yeah,
But Levy would
what's
just
his
take
name
anything,
again?
anything that gives
Elon
him the
Musk.
money.
That's
You
it.
don't mind. Brute stadium. You'll take anything.
It needs to be said, because this is the thing. I know the pandemic came in, but the situation with this naming rights, even that we can't get done right. And people keep forgetting, and I only just realised this a couple of days ago. Money has come into the club this season, this January, in fact, when we signed the sleeve sponsor.
Your clutch or
So
cinch or whatever
there's
that is.
already a
Clutch.
lump sum which people aren't even talking about, which should be made available for transfers.
Why do you think the Spurs all or nothing? I think obviously he had a massive hand in it happening. Levy wouldn't have gone ahead if it wasn't for him. It's got to be to do the new stadium and advertising for that. Surely the documentary for him allowing it. I just looked at it. Every scene, I just thought, yeah, this is just pure advertising.
I was, and I also think at that time, at the beginning of the season, when that was in talks, they literally thought Poch might be on the verge of there'll be trophies in the cabinet, and this will be defending the title or defending the FA Cup or the champion, whatever it may be. And obviously that all fell flat on its face. And literally, and people keep going on about how well Levy did in that interview. I'm like, or in that meeting, I'm like, how did he do well? The only thing that I saw that he did good was the talk with Tanguy and Dembele.
It's probably edited. It's probably edited the fuck out of anyway. So it's not really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, why didn't you show the showdown with Danny Rose when he was looking for it? Why didn't you show some of the actual things that were going on? Not the I'm gonna get where's my extra seats or Christian. Yeah, it's just like you picked and edited your bits to stay. I just The Amazon was the documentary came across a lot better.
I don't think Levy came off good from that documentary. I think he came off weak.
Yep.
I think it's obvious that he tried to come off good. It's obvious that he tried, but I don't think
Mourinho came off good.
I think most.
Yeah, he did.
The effort was there. They try, obviously they try to make him look like that, but we all agree that he didn't look good. And I think most of
came off weak. Like the way he pined over Ericsson made him look like a very weak business person.
I don't think they made Denny look good either as well. When you saw him on the treatment table talking about what's your favorite chocolates, rate your chocolates, rate your favorite chocolates, and then throwing
comedy. I didn't have a problem with that.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's a comedic thing, but you got to remember this has coincided with his downfall from four. If this was done 16, 17, they'd be like, ha, look at Denny, he's really good.
Exactly. When you're not playing well, and the basis around one of the episodes was frankly, you do not train. You do not train enough. You do not train hard enough. Then you talk about chocolates on the treatment table. Then that combines, and you just make someone look like a fool. So it didn't put Dele in a good light. But how much do you reckon we're going to get for Dele? If he said
like 35, maybe.
He's such a difficult player to value. He's the most difficult player to value in the Spurs squad when we think about deadweight. For me, deadweight. He's such a difficult player.
From what I saw, they were talking 45 million at the beginning of this season. But now they're talking about 25 million to Aston Villa in the summer. So you look at it, and people keep saying, do you know what? If we get rid of Mourinho, or we just give him one more chance, and if he doesn't do this, but I keep saying to people, do you know what? Every single time that he has a season go, his contract's going down. So it's coming to a point now where you've got to think, do I take 25 million from this summer if it comes in, or do I try and give him another season and hope we do it?
A year older, and then the contract runs down. It's a big deal.
Exactly. It's just been handled badly. It's just been handled very.
I got a funny feeling it's going to be a loan fee put to PSG probably. I think it's going to be a loan. We probably get 5-10 million fee up front, and then. But I just don't know how that will work. But I could just see. I got a funny feeling he's not going to go permanently. I just got a funny feeling he's not going to go permanently, or just not leave at all.
Or his contract will go down and go for free and sign a mega deal contract.
I think I was mugging it off in January saying, oh yeah, look, we're getting rid of Dele Alli because apparently he's going to go out on loan in January, and the replacement was Lingard because of the homegrown situation. We had to bring another English player in, and now we look back and we think, I was dead against that. I was like, I'd rather keep Dele. But now looking at that, I mean, I know he's talking about another team now, but is everyone shocked about Lingard? Like, what? It's incredible, Lingard's form, isn't it?
It's been sensational. I actually saw a thing, I think it was on Instagram, about the real story of Jesse Lingard at the moment. And apparently, I don't know if this is true, sir. I don't know if it's, sir, I'm not claiming it is, but apparently in this year or the year leading up, he's split out from his long-term girlfriend. His mother has got a terminal illness. Now, I don't know if that's true. They're showing it, and it looks very, very genuine. His brother and sister are young, so he's been taking care of them. And obviously, football then just takes us a backside to like those kind of things. And 100%. You look at if you're not being treated right at your club or whatever, he's gone to West Ham, and the players have welcomed him with open arms. He's worked with David Moyes before. And it's the England player that we saw at the World Cup tearing things up of what he was doing at United. He looks like he looks like the old Jesse. He's a complete transformation. It's incredible.
And there was a massive link with us. You know, if we got rid of Dele Alli, it looked like Lingard was going to be the man to come in if we put Dele Alli at PSG.
Yeah.
So But it may not have happened. I mean, if he's not, Mourinho's not the loving type, so he could still probably still be on the bench and would have done nothing with us.
Well,
But,
I can't remember. Was he doing well under Mourinho? I think he was at that time. Jesse
well, it's
was
a
playing
difficult one.
quite
It's a
regularly.
difficult. He was certainly on the team sheet.
Yeah, he was
pretty
playing a
much every
lot
week,
more
for sure.
often.
Yeah, I'm
under
sure he's in the
Mourinho.
team sheet pretty much every week.
It's kind of like
So who knows?
Lamella for us.
Oh, there you go. You almost went a stream without mentioning it or his name not coming out at all. Will.
Yeah, man. What happened there? Like, what happened there? What happened there? Like,
You
oh
waited
my
till
god, he's been there 8 years.
54.
2 hours,
been there
54
8
minutes,
years.
27 seconds.
Oh,
That's
how can
a
he have
new
been
re-
there
that's
8
a new
years? How
record.
can Lamella be given a one of the 25, given a place in the 25 for 8 years running? It's just, what is he? What is he?
Don't ask me.
He's a
ask
workhorse
Brian.
for the last 10 minutes. He comes on for the last 10 minutes because you can't trust him for 30 minutes because he'll get 2 yellow cards or he'll get sent off. So literally, you got him for 10 minutes and, work his ass off, score the odd Rabona because he absolutely has no right foot.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know how you can keep your place in this team. I really don't know how you can keep his place in this team. He's got to go. He has to go in the sun. Please, please, please. I think the Spanish club's interested. I think Valencia might be interested or something.
I think Roma was interested
£15
again
million.
too. I think.
I'll tell you what, if you can get £15 million for a minute, I'll bite your hand, arm, whatever. I'd bite it off.
Like I said, I mean, we've got to raise the money whichever way we can to go get a centre back. That's do you know what? It's come to the point now where apart from the obvious, like your Kanes, your Sons, your Højbjergs, your Regulons, I don't care who we sell to get the defender in we need. If we only get one, don't just get let's just say we got 65 million in transfer. Don't go out and spend 40 million on one person, 25 million on another.
Yeah.
But once go quality over quantity for once in your life.
That's what happened with Bale, wasn't it? We just threw everything. It's like we just threw everything at it, 5 or 6 players, and just hope something stuck. Fortunately, it sort of did with Ericsson.
But that's it. When you've got Baldini and Levy doing it, and you're buying people like Vlad Klirishes.
He's a new Maldini. I think they're saying he's the next Maldini before we signed him.
It's like this. See, this is the bit that's also got to me is when we got rid of Bale. AVB has famously come out and said I only wanted 2 of those players, which was Ericsson and I can't remember the other one. But he said I only want 2 of those players. But Levy and Baldini went and got those players. So Levy has the right apparently to buy players for the manager. And then when Poch left, Levy comes out and said, "Well, I offered loads of people to Poch, and they said no." It's like, well, wait a minute. You can't have one manager where you buy players in whether they like it or not, and then another manager says no, and then you don't do it. You can't have it.
It's continuity again. It's just like putting your hand in. It's like a lottery. The decisions that are being made, it's a lottery. There's not much thought process behind it, and
that's what I think they do.
He 100%. It might sound he believes in his own hype, Levy. He's living up to his media profile, and he's got this Del Boy. He's Del Boy. Thinks he's Del Boy.
I think I've just cracked it. I think I know what happens there. Have you seen those things on Facebook where it says guess your or get your gangster name, and it says your month of the year you were born, your date of birth, and your battery level? I think that's what we're doing with transfer targets. Like, okay.
Yeah.
But Tommy, you seem to be pro Winks.
I am pro Winks. I've got
years of academy training.
Right, I've got to integrate these. I just started my own thing. I've got to integrate these little snippets. But I'm way in the minority. But if you really watch him, his drop of the shoulder, his first touch, which is so important in football, it is often something overlooked. But the drop of the shoulder, you don't need pace to get past the man if you can drop your shoulder well. And first touch, when you watch Dele Alli, a player out of form, you see a player with a poor first touch. It is everything. It opens up the pitch when you have a good first touch. And it sounds easy. It's not easy. It's not easy when a ball comes out you 60 miles an hour to get that first touch, open it up, play the pass. Winks was amazing at that. And you look like you see a player out of form, and that's when you know someone's out of form. Dele Alli, look at his first touch this season. Every time he receives the ball, whether it's in Europa League, Premier League, it's horrific 90% of the time.
So
the reason he scored his Pele, the reason he scored his bicycle kick, because it was a terrible first touch. It was a terrible first touch. We set him up for the bicycle kick. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's actually got a
Lucas
point.
Moura has probably one of the worst first touches I've ever seen. But yeah, he's one of the best dribblers or jugglers at the club.
But once he gets into it, and you can do it as a winger, you can have a bad first touch as a winger. You can't do it as if you're playing centrally. You're in big trouble. You're in big trouble. And another thing I want to say about Dele Alli, everyone was praising him in the Fulham game because he helped assist. He helped assist the goal. He didn't actually assist it, but he started to move off. Apparently, he didn't start to move off. Bale powered it at him, and it was such a good through ball. He had time to miscontrol it because he miscontrolled it with his first touch once again. But because it was such a good ball, he had time to miscontrol it. He turned. He had a 10-yard pass to play Son in, who crossed it into him. He missed the target with the shot. We know he missed the target because when it hit the defender, it counted as an own goal. And everyone was raving about Dele Alli after that. He's so bad. He's when someone's first touch is gone, you know that's it. You know that's it. And
now, I actually saw an interesting. So the chemist here, he's a pharmacist. He's also Korean here, living in the U.S. I saw a thing today on YouTube from Korean channels that it was an interesting stat that Eric Lamela has never completed a pass.
I beg your pardon.
What was that last bit?
Lamela has never completed a pass to Son.
Oh,
okay.
And then apparently there's a rivalry between the two of them. And so if there's another option, like at the weekend, and they showed like 35 different examples. But
that's insane. There was a quiz question about Lamela, something to do with his pass accuracy. Was he? I can't remember, but I think he was the. I think it was surprising actually. He was looking at pass accuracy, and his wasn't the worst. And I think everyone was surprised by that.
Accuracy is left foot.
But yeah, it's crazy. And no, actually, I think people put Davinson Sanchez and stuff like that. But centre backs will always have, no matter how bad they are, they receive the ball the most. So their possession will always be better, regardless of how bad they are. But that Lamela Son stat is incredible. If it's true, that is incredible. Because
I haven't checked it.
Minutes on the time on the pitch together, so that's incredible.
But apparently, because they were kind of battling for the same spot,
makes sense.
Son and Lamela apparently have and they use like the Juan Foyth quote as an example of Lamela's personality. So how he wants to fight everybody at training.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
The one thing I do want to say, actually, going back on when we were talking about Moura and Winks, the one thing Moura has the advantage of, if he has a bad first touch, he has his pace to get him out of trouble.
Yeah.
Whereas Harry Winks may have everything that Tommy's saying, but he does not have the pace.
He lacks the pace. But what I was trying to incorporate with Harry Winks is he's technically one of the best. So his first touch can be, when it's on point and when he's playing, he can dictate the tempo of a game. And he dictates the tempo because he receives the ball the most, and he can drop the shoulder. That's how you dictate the tempo. It's almost like you're a hypnotist. You're a hypnotist for both teams.
I think what Harry Winks is lacking for me is he has the technical ability, but I think he's missing a lot of the vision and flair, right? Whereas Dele Alli has a lot of the flair and maybe missing some of the technical attributes. And if you could morph the two together, you'd have Lionel Messi or Ronaldinho.
What a great statement. What a great statement. I don't think you're right, but it's a great statement.
Well, think about it. Who has a better first touch than Ronaldinho?
Yeah, who has a better second, third, and fourth touch than Ronaldinho?
And his flair and passion. And who turns on a dime and drops the shoulder off his first touch better than Messi?
I agree with the things you're saying about Messi and Ronaldinho. I just don't think if you put Harry Winks together and Dele Alli together, you get Ronaldinho or Messi.
I'm a Winks fan. It's not that I'm a Winks fan. I just don't think he's a terrible player like people are making out. I don't think he's a terrible player. I think, Pochettino had him in the first team for a long time. I mean, he's in Southgate's first team for at least 6 months. So I don't think he's a terrible player. And I don't think he's the problem. I don't think he's the biggest problem at the club.
I think his attitude is a problem.
Yeah, we've seen him on the bench, sort of making a few gestures and
the comment
and
about
stuff like that.
I want more minutes so I can play in the Euros.
Yeah, but we don't really know what goes behind scenes. We don't really know what's going on behind the scenes.
Just looking at his he kind of looks like a prick, to be honest.
His mannerisms. His mannerisms. His
Like I
mannerisms.
wouldn't want to be his friend. You know, if he wasn't a pro and I was just a normal guy and I saw his body language.
He didn't seem popular in Spurs All or Nothing. I think he was at the like unpopular table. I think he had like the 12-year-olds near him or something. So like, it could be true.
Did you guys see here? Botch got sacked. Going around table to table, whispering.
Do you know what? He's kind of one of those friends that you want to take to the theme park because you know he can look after your bags because he's not tall enough to go on the rides. he's that friend.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he does look.
John
well.
Gerard, that is the weirdest question anybody's ever asked. I'm not even going to put it on screen.
Why? What's this? Let's have a look.
It says if my aunt had a wank, she'd be my uncle. Well, obviously.
Well, that's not even a question.
There was a Ricky Gervais. There's a Ricky Gervais quote like that from The Office. If my auntie had a cock, she'd be my uncle. It was my auntie had a cock, she'd be my uncle. It was trying to basically say if spots. It's quite funny actually. But
I remember a comment like that from what's the chef from back home, the Italian guy, Gino Di Campo. Gino Di Campo, yeah. And he was on this morning with Holly Willoughby and Phil Schofield, and they were having a carbonara. Or no, they made an Italian something, and Holly Willoughby said, "Oh, do you know what? If you put a bit of ham on this, it'd be like an English carbonara." And then basically, Gino turned around and said, "If my grandma had a set of wheels, she'd be a bicycle." Scientifically possible. What was the point in that? And obviously they pissed themselves. But I understand the comment. I just don't know what the question.
Yeah, it is like that was he was the only comment all night. So that's what really kind of boom. There you go, Sean. Welcome to the show. And with that, fellas, we got to go.
Yeah,
3 hours. We're already past our time.
Tommy's got to go for a run.
Tommy's got to go for a run and then to work or wherever he's going on a Thursday. So Tommy, promote your show, promote your channel.
Right, sweet boys. So yeah, as I said, it's a relatively new channel. Just started hosting. So Spurs Zone TV. Get over there. Just hit me with a sub. I wouldn't have started this if I didn't think I could offer something. So yeah, and tomorrow evening, or if you're watching this on recording, it is Thursday. Thursday evening. I'm keeping track of the dates. It's Thursday evening. I'm going to be doing I'm going to be talking potential replacements. So the actual, we're not just talking about Jose Mourinho going, actual physical replacements. I'm going to be sort of dissecting a little bit further. And before that, there'll be a little bit of, what can Jose do to keep his job? So that's basically the swing of things tomorrow. I'll have a few boys joining me as well. So make sure you watch that. Give me a sub. And yeah, it was a pleasure to be part of today's show. It really was. It was fantastic.
Yep. And you're welcome back anytime. This show's open to everybody. So wonderful. Yeah, people that I'm in, like other creators on the Twitter sphere that I'm in groups with, I'll just go ahead and usually throw the link out there for them so it's easier. But I also offer it to the whole stream. And the cool part about it is because it's 3 hours, and the reason why it's 3 hours, in case you're wondering, not because I enjoy streaming for 3 hours 3 days a week, but it's because we start at 10 p.m. Eastern time in the United States, and because we have such a giant country, we end at 10 p.m. Pacific.
I see.
So each hour, you usually have different folks joining and bouncing out. So the stream count tends to stick around 35 to 45 people. So
sweet.
Yeah. And it's just kind of a free, no topic, get off into the weeds.
And we really went off today.
Yeah.
Brian, are you usually here? Are you usually here for the 3 hours pretty much every time?
This is Brian's 34th time.
Brian, mate, you are absolutely incredible. You're like Ndomble at Spurs. You just can't.
He's Höjbjerg. He's Höjbjerg of the Spurs.
There's nothing like Ndomble. There's nothing like Brian, man.
Do you know what? Tommy, thanks for I try as much as I can. Do you know what it is as well? The first time I came on Wills was a rant at Levy, and this is the thing. Like I've said, with my channel, I go in, and you've probably seen a few things that we do, but I've got to be careful, kind of what I say
Sure.
and what I do and whatever. Whereas on this channel at this time of night, it's
Yeah,
kind
it
of
could be
like
free.
the Unchained, the late night edition, and I can be as volatile or not volatile to the get, but you know what I mean. I can really speak
Yeah, man.
and get all my anger
Be open.
out. Yeah,
Therapy. That's what Marcello was saying earlier.
This is exactly what Will does for me.
Yeah, and for
Yeah, man.
me, that's kind of my goal is to be the Conan O'Brien of Spurs YouTube content. You know, I got the
There you go.
soundboard, you know, doing the funny sounds and a little bit of serious and a lot of fun, and then wherever it goes.
Chilled entertainer. Chilled entertainer.
There we go.
I just think it's crazy that the count stays so steady for like 3 hours. It never goes down once it gets to where it's at.
No, that's pucker, man. That's pucker. I'm happy with like 10 views. I'm happy with 10 views at the moment when I'm on, but I've literally just started. So yeah. I mean, the content's great. I looked at the content before I came on, and you know, it's great. It's great stuff. I'm not surprised. I'm gonna
try to cut it up shorter, and a lot of the folks in the comments get mad at me because the conversation. There's so many people, and it's really hard to do both. So I started a earlier question and answer show when nobody else is doing anything. So
makes sense.
That's it. When there's a hole, fill it.
Yeah. If I look
right, my bed's calling, boys. My bed's calling.
Off you go.
Go to sleep.
All right.
Take it easy, Tommy.
In a bit, chaps. In a bit.
See you later
All
on.
right. And Brian,
Yes, sir.
tell us about where everyone can find you if they don't know already.
Well, hopefully they know, but for the new people, as you can see, we are Tottenham Away. All our social medias are, like it says there, at Tottenham_away. But for YouTube, it's simply Tottenham Away without the underscore. We're a growing channel. Will has been on the show this week, and Will, I have to apologise. I was violently ill and couldn't be there on Monday to be there with you. And I missed it, so I wanted to make sure I was here to support you. All part of the Tottenham Hotspur community and the Tottenham family that we've assembled. And yeah, find us there. I've got my show with Brian doing the two Brians on Friday, which is a light-hearted fun look where we have a lot of fun and fans phone in. And Monday we do our regular pod with a special guest. This week it's Bob Spur TV, so it'll be another great one to look forward to.
Yeah.
And yeah, come like, subscribe, give us a like, and comment away. And we'd love to get you on the shows at some point to all your listeners and viewers.
Yeah, and if you guys want to just hit the X on the live chat for this video, tap on my beautiful face, and scroll down. You can find Tottenham Warrior right there at the bottom of my channel. So Yeah, if you don't want to search, it's right there on our main homepage for the channel. So I put everybody whose channel I've been on outside of my own goes in my other channels that I have appeared on section to help promote the family.
I'm loving the way we are as a family. I'm absolutely like the
There's some people. There's some people on the outside. I'm trying to bring them in, especially over here.
Yep.
But I'm still working on that.
We'll get there. We'll get there. I mean, like I said, the great thing is we've all been there to support each other.
Yeah.
Regardless, that's the thing. Like when people say, hey, "Listen, I'm doing a stream. Can someone hop on?" We've all been there, and because we're all around the world, the time zones just fit some of us all the time. So it's just fantastic.
Yeah, but honestly, in the U.S., I think our channel and your channels work fairly close together. I've been on 2 or 3 times. You've been on over here 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
But not too many of the other North American channels have jumped on here. We even had Jamaica on.
Yep. We
last
had
week.
Nepal call in for you.
Yeah. Huh?
So yeah, you had the guy from Nepal call in again today.
Yeah, the guy from Nepal. We've had, but I'm talking like actual channels to come on.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They haven't decided to do that yet, and I know they know I'm here. So.
Well, do you know what? We spread the word, and hopefully it'll come.
Yeah.
Hopefully
but I'm a
it'll
nice
come.
guy.
You are. You're a dynamite guy, mate. You're an absolute superb guy.
I'm not scary. I'm big,
Well,
tall.
yeah, yeah, that's the thing. When you say you're 6'5", you're big, you're tall, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I have a
But no,
red beard. Is that it? They don't like
Who knows? Who knows?
They
Loving
like-
that beanie though. Loving that hat.
they don't like ginger beards.
Loving that hat, mate. That's a rock solid hat.
Well, thank you. It's just a beanie. It's actually from my son's club. I just
There
put
you
this
go.
back here in case anybody from the club's watching.
Good
No, I'm
thinking.
kidding.
Good thinking. And Will, on that note, I will bid you a good night.
Good night, my
And we
man.
will see each other very, very soon. Sleep
Yeah,
well.
I'm sure we'll
stay
probably
safe.
end up on a stream tomorrow together.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will at some point somehow. And I look forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
All right, my man. I'll speak to you later.
All right. Talk to you later. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Bye bye.
All right, folks. You know what it is. It's man smell time, which means jealous of the beards. Thanks, Alejandro. Anyway, thanks for all of the folks that are still watching with us. There's 24 of us, 22 now. People are kicking off, jumping off. Thank you very much for watching. We're going to be back Saturday night for our Manchester United pre-match. Also, too, tomorrow during the afternoon, maybe around 1, 2, maybe possibly later, I'll be doing a Q&A. Also, around, I think 5:30 tomorrow night, I'll be over on the Irish Hotspur channel doing a show with him. So if you can't go a day without seeing my face, you'll be able to see me tomorrow. Anyway. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Stay strong. Stay Spurs. And you know what it is? Let's roll that outro.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's go now.